Let's see what happened. This was earlier today. All U.S. ships, aircraft, and military personnel with additional. Sorry. All U.S. ships, aircraft, and military personnel with additional ammunition, weaponry, and anything else that is appropriate and necessary for the lethal prosecution and destruction of an already substantially degraded enemy. We will remain in place and around Iran until such time as the real agreement reached is fully compiled with. If for any reason it is not, which is highly unlikely, then the shooting stars, bigger and better and stronger than anyone has ever seen before. It was agreed a long time ago, and despite all of the fake rhetoric to the contrary, no nuclear weapons and the Strait of Hormuz will be open and safe. In the meantime, our great military is loading up and resting, looking forward, actually, to its next conquest. America is back. This was at 11 p.m. EST, apparently. And then we'll see what he was doing over here. Oh god, it's all on one side.
A lot of very good things are happening with regard to the Strait, Hormuz. And
yeah, they're
Iran
said they were trying
very strong. We have some
Iran said they're trying to keep it locked
numbers
down.
Released
So
economically
they don't want anything to move.
Everything else, and things are going very well.
UK also came in and was like, "Yeah, no, we're not going to help." And it's just like, dude,
I would say it's
you purchased that
well.
shit yourself. You're not going to help your own self-interest. Okay.
Their whole
you can just sit there and look like a fucking retard.
Navy is underwater, you know that. 158 ships are gone. Their Navy's gone.
That means all the resources go to America.
We have a lot of people, as
right?
you know, at 10 o'clock tomorrow, we have a blockade going into effect. That'll be 10 o'clock tomorrow.
All the resources you take from this war is going to us.
Iran will not be able to sell oil.
None to you.
And that will be very effective. But what we want to do is we want to, and again, we don't need it. What we notice and what we see and what I think is maybe my idea, maybe not, I don't know. But there are many boats heading toward our country to fill up with oil and then go and take it. So they're not going to go through the Hormuz Strait. And ultimately that'll be corrected. But in the meantime, they're using us. We have more oil because of Drill Baby Drill. We have more oil than Russia and Saudi Arabia put together. So if you look at Russia and Saudi Arabia, two big ones, we have much more oil than they have put together. And what's happening is boats are coming over here, filling up. We don't have to go through the Hormuz.
Can you give us an update, Mr. President, on the two pilots? Are they in good condition? Have you spoken to them or their families?
They are in very good shape, and we're very proud of them, the two pilots, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they said there was a third person. I don't know who came out.
I think Iran is
apparently there was a third
shape.
person within the.
I think they're very desperate. We had a meeting that lasted 21 hours. We understand the situation better than anybody. And Iran's in very bad shape. And just so you understand, Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. Will not have. There is no way that they're going to get. They still want it, and they made that clear the other night. Iran will not have a nuclear weapon.
How long are you waiting for them to come back to the conversation?
Oh, I don't know. I don't care if they come back or not. If they don't come back, I'm fine. Their military is gone. Their missiles are largely depleted. The manufacturing capability for missiles and drones is largely defeated. We've been very nice. We haven't ripped down too many bridges. We did one only because they broke their word. They broke their promise. And remember, their promise was that they were going to open the Hormuz Strait. They didn't do it. They lied. Yeah, they're coming up and they're helping. Yeah, we have many other countries.
Do you have any countries that will be buying the oil from the United States? Have you had any talks with specific?
Well, you just have to see. But ships are heading up to our country right now, empty, and they're going to go back filled up with oil. Okay?
Why did you attack Pope Leo
And then that oil is going to be processed and refined into whatever they need it to be.
He hit us. Think of it. He's worried about fear. What about the fear when the ministers and the priests and all of those great people that were arrested during COVID, and in many cases they're outside 10 feet
you
apart,
can't just use crude oil
arrested.
straight from the fucking,
we don't like it. We don't like a pope that's going to say that it's okay to have a nuclear weapon. We don't want a pope that says crime is okay in our cities. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo. He's a very liberal person, and he's a man that doesn't believe in stopping crime. He's a man that doesn't think that we should be toying with a country that wants a nuclear weapon so they can blow up the world. I'm not a fan of Pope Leo.
I mean, he's just doing his job as a pope, right? As a Christian.
Well, that's a very theoretical question. Really, I don't want to answer. Well, they're coming up. They're going to be coming up. But I'm very disappointed in NATO.
Also, I don't really want to hear that from the Pope. When that is the oldest institution that led a fucking crusade.
Remember what I said. NATO was not there. Now they want to come up, but there's no real threat anymore.
Apparently, he forgot the history of the church.
We'll see what happens. But, you know, we spend trillions of dollars on NATO to help them guard really against Russia. When you think of it, we're guarding against Russia. And I've long thought it was a little ridiculous, but we spend trillions of dollars doing it, and I think that's going to be under very serious examination. Thank you very much.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it was a little short talk. Oh, I guess we can check this out. Apparently, something happened to Sabrina Carpenter.
Sabrina Carpenter is getting canceled at Coachella.
Oh, okay, that's why.
But
you went to Coachella and is getting canceled.
People, as someone started doing this during her show.
Stop. No, someone did not do that, please. God damn it.
Show.
Is that what you're doing? I don't like it. That's your culture, is yodeling?
Yeah. Yodelay.
Now, apparently in the copyright claim clips, you can lightly hear one of the yodelers shouting it's because they're Arab and it's their culture. But I'd imagine anybody who paid over $2,000
I'm pretty sure
see
he's
Sabrina
just
Carpenter,
making a fucking
the literal
joke,
mac and
person.
cheese of music. And nothing against mac and cheese or Sabrina's music. It's just a plain, predictable, corporate-produced product that pleases the masses. But if you came for Sabrina, you probably didn't ask to hear Zagroda. But according to the internet, that's racist. As all hyper-left Reddit,
it's racist.
the 11,000 upvoted post had all the top comments saying it had racist undertones, blaming her for not having an Arab friend, and even saying, "Don't give white woman a chance, they'll let you down." It's absolutely insane how quickly they changed what happened. A performer on stage playing American pop songs didn't like getting distracted by Arab chants, as suddenly turned into, "This is why white people bad." And even on the Reddit posts that supported Sabrina against the shouting in the audience,
yeah, I
was,
mean,
of
people
course,
are just
deleted
trying to be
immediately
obnoxious
by their
during
moderators,
her,
or to silence the
her
logic
event.
of, why do you feel the need to force other cultures to listen to yours? As it isn't about Sabrina accepting
Well, I
Arab
mean, those
traditions,
people
it's
voluntarily
about the
went to
left
Coachella.
flexing
I mean,
their
you can't really
influence.
say that.
That even a popular platinum-selling pop star still has to adhere to the Church of Inclusion. As the viral X post claiming she doesn't like cultural Arabic chair, as she's insensitive and phobic before getting copyright claimed, got over 28 million views, where people tried to point out how Zagroda is Arab, not specific to religion. But OP replied, "It doesn't matter. Still hold her accountable for being problematic, as MAGA Brainer has now been trending everywhere, as there has almost zero overlap between the two, other than Popular Blonde says something the left doesn't like. As sadly, Sabrina immediately bent the knee, saying, "I apologize, I couldn't see or hear them clearly, I should have handled it better, I welcome all cheers and yodels from here on out." And if she wasn't before, she's forever going to be on her back foot, desperately trying not to offend the most fragile emotion in their million-member fanbase. While on X, everybody was asking, why would you apologize and not double down to defend yourself? What is just another example of those who live based on reality versus those who live based on consensus. As the gist of it is, tribally,
I mean, she's a fucking
strong men
musician.
believe what
Come
they
on.
see and act upon it.
Let's
but
be real.
vulnerable individuals have to see things through
Not
a
a lot of people
consensus
take
filter.
musicians
If they believe
seriously,
something that
especially
the
when they
tribe
start
doesn't,
talking about
they're in
fucking
danger of
political
being
stuff.
exiled, so they can't act upon their own beliefs and best interests. Hence, don't interrupt my show. No. Everybody's shouting at you, just accept the interruption or you're a racist. And since
Well, I mean, she
basically
didn't
none of
have
her
to
products
accept the
appeals to
interruption.
men,
She could have
she's
just kept
condemned to live
playing,
by consensus
but she
of the
herself
most
got distracted
insanely
because,
sensitive individuals
right, because of her
known to
feelings.
humanity. That's why I
Right,
say
and she had to
she's nothing
speak
like
out.
Sydney Sweeney.
I mean, if she would've
had her,
just,
quote,
you know, played her
controversy
set, she
over
would've been
her
fine.
ad about blue jeans.
Sydney Sweeney has very keen.
They demanded an apology, and she still refused.
White people shouldn't.
Yeah,
joke
and that's
about
why Sydney
genetic
Sweeney's great,
superiority.
because she
Like,
didn't
that was
fucking
kind of like the
capitulate.
criticism, broadly speaking. And since you are
Stuck
talking
to
about
her
this, I just wanted
guns.
to give you an opportunity to talk about that specifically.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
So
There you
a rapper got angry at her.
My jeans are blue.
But since then has changed her stance on talking.
I
you're
don't
a
want
celebrity-
it. Doja Cat's fucking retarded.
Shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to hear
Ghetto ass fucking bitch. Hood rat.
It's sad as this Sabrina nonsense just shows us the oppression Olympics is still alive and well within the left, proving even though much of Hollywood has escaped it, if some idiots are dumb enough to still listen to them, they'll always have to live their lives based on the loudest idiot in the room. So if you appreciate my concise, light-hearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, subscribe to Decoy.
All right, there we go. See, this is why you never capitulate to these people. They're just gonna keep coming after you. And they see a vulnerable person who showed himself or showed themselves to be unable to bear the weight of what they've said. Let's see what's going on with the UK free speech bill.
Now, here is something very, 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 very important that people should definitely be paying attention to. Now, just for a little bit of background on this. Now, one of the things that I've always campaigned on for many, many years now was a free speech bill, essentially a British constitution. Right now, we don't have a codified constitution like the Bill of Rights in America or the Constitution itself. We have an
where's all those
Bill of Rights,
UK
which means it can be
enjoyers who
changed
was
at
all
the
like,
whim
"Oh
of
yeah, we have
judges
free
and
speech
the
here."
Supreme Court and other such things, right? Whereas
Didn't
if we
seem
could just
like
get
that.
an actual proper free speech bill where here's the rules,
they literally
free speech
had
is
to write it
protected.
in a
If the
bill
government
now.
wants to do anything about it, tough titty they can. That is something that I've wanted for a very long time. I still do. The problem is it's a government document protected and upheld by the government. And we've seen what kind of job they do of, well, fucking anything at all.
Well,
right?
they
But
do a shit
the fact
job.
is, this would still be
They-
a good
they
thing for
actually don't
protecting
do their
people's
job
right
at
to
all.
freedom of speech in Britain. And this has been fronted by Adam Smith, the Adam Smith Institute,
They
but more
allowed the
primarily by
rape
Preston Burns.
gangs and
if you don't know who that is, see how
fucking foreign invader gangs to
4chan and
fuck them
Kiwi
up.
farms are kind of going up
They do
against
nothing about
Ofcom
it,
at the
but they're
moment
scared
because
of being
Ofcom's
called
like,
racist
you must abide by
or
the Child
a
Safety Bill,
phobia.
and 4chan and Kiwi farms are going, yeah, that's censorship, shove it right up your arse. Also, we're not a British company, don't talk to us. You know, the Ryan Gosling gif. Don't fucking talk to me, which is, yeah, completely fair, right? He is their lawyer. Preston Burn is their lawyer and is defending them from Ofcom. And if you should look at some of the emails They are. They are sublime. But basically, he is now fronting, he's written essentially a free speech bill. Not just him, there's been quite a few people that have been involved in it. Not me. Like, I'm good at making fun of the government and stuff like that, but as for me writing actual legislation, I'd rather leave that to a literal actual fucking lawyer. I think that'd be probably smart. Because in Statute 1, people get to say stuff. Bill over. In fact, that would be my bill. That would just be it. But I'll go over some of the details and go through some of the things that have been discussed in the bill. And the reason is this was firstly introduced like back in 2020, but over time it's been like developed and worked on, and more people have been getting involved. And now it's at the point where it's now getting mainstream attention. People are actually discussing it now. When this goes to Parliament, they're going to vote it out immediately because, again, it's the government. The government's like, what do you mean people will be able to snitch on us all the time and say whatever they want? And they'll be able to criticise diversity and migrants and all these things that we love so much.
No,
and everything. What do you mean? They're going to do everything
me.
they can to vote it down, right? But however, that's still a good thing because they just voted down basic human rights in front of everyone.
You can't do this.
And everybody saw it. And if there's one thing that I am right after a free speech activist, it's an accelerationist. But anyway... Preston Byrne, ASI Legal Fellow and Managing Partner at Byrne & Storm, LLP. Over the course of the last year, I have defended Americans from the UK's internet censorship agency, Ofcom, as well as parrying inbound censorship demands from Australia's e-safety and several European regulators. Most of you reading this will have learned about this work and these cases because of an email we sent to Ofcom in response to that agency's failed attempt to fine my client 4chan. Now, like, Preston Byrne, by the way, see when it comes to a free speech lawyer, he's your guy. He's the guy. Definitely go and follow him on Twitter and stuff like that. He is your guy when it comes to this stuff. Me and him have had a bunch of, mostly about crypto. But me and him have had, there it is. See, that's one of the emails that they send to Ofcom, a giant AI hamster holding a fucking peanut. Because Ofcom have no authority whatsoever in America. They just don't. They just don't have any authority there whatsoever. The hamster thing is a running private international law joke between 4chan's legal team and Ofcom's legal team. Although I suspect, as between us, only 4chan's legal team finds it
another
funny
Britain
about services of
another
process
US Britain war.
Specifically, it illustrates that Ofcom's emailed fines to my client are not validly served in the United States. Ofcom's letter may therefore safely be shredded from my pet hamster's enclosure without any enforceable legal repercussions. The joke even made it into court filings in our client's lawsuit against Ofcom, after Ofcom brought it up in their motion to dismiss, and we wound up having to explain the joke to a US federal judge. Hamsters aside of any foreign agency, Ofcom has been our most serious and determined opponent. For over a year, we have fought them and every other foreign censor we encounter with the objective of preventing them from laying a finger on any American citizen or company, using all lawful means available. Fighting Ofcom is, however, a sideshow. It is not, and never has been, the main event. As between Ofcom and 4chan, and regardless of the outcome of the DC litigation, and however much Ofcom might bluster and engage in enforcement theatre, on the question of whether Ofcom can collect its fines against Americans, American law is firmly on 4chan's side.
Try it.
Ofcom will never collect a single penny of its fine against my client. Nor is my client's fight against Ofcom and America and across America's borders the fight I care about the most. Although I care about that fight a great deal. The reality of it all is that the refusals of Ofcom's orders, the lawsuits in America, the Granite Act, Foreign Censorship Shield, bills now advancing in legislatures across the United States, the cartoon hamster, all of these are early battles in a far wider war. The big fight, the real fight, is to restore free speech in the United Kingdom.
I think the real issue is everybody's
today,
some of these countries,
the problem, the United
for whatever
Kingdom
reason, care so much about what Americans say. They should be worrying about their own fucking country and worrying about their own borders.
This is not a uniquely Starmer or Labour problem. This has been the case for decades. Also true. The only difference between the censorship of 15 years ago and today is the quantity in which it occurs, not the nature of the restrictions. The objective of the model bill is, as far as possible, to get the UK's government out of the business of regulating opinions, which is exactly what it's doing. I would say
it's trying.
They're mostly purposely
They're
doing
trying to
it
chill
in
your
order to
speech.
hide the
all
horrific
they're trying
crimes
to
that
do.
they are committing against the native British population,
Right,
and
they're
it's
trying to
also to
force
stop
you
them from
to-
being snitched
to
onto
not
the
make
native
jokes
population,
about them
lest
and
the native
criticize them.
population might start to drag a few politicians towards some lampposts and do a little bit of a boogaloo. That's the main thing that they're concerned about. They want to hide their crimes from the natives, but they also want to avoid repercussions for those crimes. That's the main reason they want to control freedom of speech. The model bill accomplishes this by
stop
abolishing
talking
huge
about the
swathes of criminal
crimes happening in
offences
our
relating
country,
to the
please.
causing of offence, insult, alarm, or distress,
going to sue
and
you
by
guys.
eliminating content-based
away
speech
from us.
restrictions which
We're
threaten
going
a
to
speaker
sue.
with prison for little else than having the wrong ideas and daring to say them.
Brother, you're
in
in
a
the
free
wrong
society,
country.
fools and bigots and arseholes get to speak and remain free men.
You have
That
no
is not what you
power,
could
no
start by spelling
jurisdiction in
arseholes,
the
right,
United
Preston?
States.
Sorry. That is
Powerless
say aluminium
fuckers.
right now. That is not the price of liberty. It is liberty, and the rest of us get it too. The model bill's authors are aware that this model bill, if enacted, would decriminalise expression that we find morally repugnant. We accept and embrace that consequence, but we ask the reader to consider who these laws actually catch. Overwhelmingly, victims of the UK's censorship state are not hardened extremists who operate in encrypted channels
Yeah,
beyond
some
the
of
reach
the
of any statute.
right, they're
but
literally
ordinary
exactly. They're
people, which is
capturing
absolutely
their
true.
right.
Was
they're
it, you know
putting,
that the people getting arrested,
You're
they are
putting
like
regular
terrorists or, like, horrible, like,
citizens
evil, like,
in
disgusting
jail
people.
for just
a lot
a
of it is,
fucking
like,
neutral
two people
take
were having
on
an
things.
argument on Facebook.
Or just talking
Somebody
about
said something,
what's
and then they
happening
get
in
a
their
knock
own
at the door with
country,
the
and they're
police,
all like, "Oh,
dragged
nope,
out to the
you got to go in
station,
the cage."
inspectors giving them interviews, and then
You're talking
bloody
too much
having to
about
go
us.
to court
You
and
got to
all
go in
the
the
taxes
cage.
that costs and everything because somebody called someone a slur on Facebook. And basically, look at the state of the country. We've got bigger fish to fry. Even just never mind like morality or anything like that, or like just basically respecting human rights, and even remove all of that stuff, and let's just go for sheer pragmatism. We have bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, exactly.
We have much bigger and better criminals to catch.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I want to go after the rapers,
Yeah,
and the
why don't
robbers
you
and
go?
the murderers
Yeah,
and the
exactly.
terrorists
Why
and
don't
all
you
those
go after
people,
the
but
heinous
instead
crimes
we're
instead
going
of
after
going
little
after this
Sharon because she said something
non-crime
cheeky on Twitter.
bullshit.
Right, again, we've got bigger fish to fry.
Doesn't make any fucking sense.
Where was I? The present state of the
Right,
UK, where expressing an
people have
opinion that
shifted
gives
their
rise to even
priorities
mild
to
offence
being
may
fucking
result in
retards.
arrest, and does result in arrest for tens of thousands of people per year, is a heavy price that this country has been paying for 2 decades. The bill for the UK's bad conduct now falls due. Overzealous enforcement of these laws has resulted in the arrests of parents complaining about their local school boards, Jewish citizens being threatened with arrest for looking too visibly Jewish in public, satirists
sorry,
of
what
every
the fuck
stripe
does
from the
that
absurd
mean?
to the gender critical being
Oh,
arrested
sorry,
and
you're too
charged for
visibly
ideas that
Jewish.
only a
You
decade
gotta
ago
go in
were
the
commonly
cage.
held. Teenagers threatened with terrorism charges for reposting memes.
Oh, you're
All of
a
these are
Jew.
things that have, in fact,
Sorry.
happened in Britain.
You got to go back.
Then in
You
2023,
gotta go in the
Parliament
truck.
vested Ofcom, the UK's internet
Straight to
censor,
jail.
with vast powers, and spent hundreds of millions of pounds building a purportedly globe-spanning
Now, isn't
enforcement
that
apparatus,
discriminatory?
only to lose in the core of public opinion.
Actually, I don't even
and
know
be
if
proven
UK has
utterly toothless
discrimination
by
laws.
a cartoon
I mean,
hamster.
they sure as hell don't have any.
Which is
they
funny.
sure as hell don't have
Which
any
is
free
very
speech.
funny. The UK's censorship regime does not work, does not deserve to survive, and this model bill, if enacted, would put it out of its misery. Those are rather sexy words. I'm half chubbed up right now. If the UK wanted to enact something like the First Amendment, what would the resulting statute look like? That is the question we seek to answer with the publication of the model bill. A requirement
I mean,
of
why
such
don't
a
you
law
just
would
take some of the
necessarily
wording
mean that
from,
on the day of its
the
enactment,
American
it would need to
First
dismantle
Amendment.
virtually all the
That'll
UK's
help you a
censorship
bit.
regime in one swift strike. It would have to, overnight, eliminate the British state's power to police the opinions of the British people.
Right, we still
because
use
the total
some of the
elimination of
old,
that power,
right, common
all
law
of it, all
from
at once,
fucking
is what is required in order to
shitty-ass
truly
UK land.
recreate the First Amendment,
Right,
warts
because
and
that's
all.
where
In publishing the model
there's a lot
bill
of,
and in proposing the extent of
before
repeals
America
and
became America,
and in proposing the extent of
right,
repeals we propose, the
settlers
model
came
bill's
over
authors ask readers
from
one
the,
question
right,
and one
European
alone.
nations
Do you
and
want the UK to
the
have a
UK.
free speech right that is equivalent to the First Amendment? The question has a binary answer, yes or no. Well, mine's yes. Mine's yes. Or maybe I want no. Maybe the fact that my comedy is all illegal and edgy, that kind of gives me it's the same reason that a lot of the big drug barons don't want their drugs legalized, because basically they don't have to cover the cost of hiding and all that stuff, and shit will be cheaper.
Yeah.
Drugs would be much cheaper. They would make a lot less money. Well, a lot of people that don't want drugs legalized is the drug barons.
Right, if they did legalize a lot of the drugs,
instead of just going up and shooting a place up, they would then have to compete like in court and everyone. Who wants to do that? Well, Preston, that's his job.
Right, because they basically
I'm just
smack
saying,
on a premium because it's fucking it's black market drugs.
I do actually want but basically I do want a free speech bill. I want it modelled after the American Constitution, as in I want it in a way where it can only be changed with overwhelming public vote. Overwhelming public vote. That's the only way I want it to be changed. Right, but the problem is the way that bills work right now, Parliament can just go and change stuff, and or the Supreme Court can make amendments to it. So basically, it's a case of getting it in. A free speech bill is great if you can keep it. Right, that's the problem. Or maybe ask Preston; he'll know far more about it than I do. That is the model bill's purpose. It does not seek to reach a consensus or an accommodation with pro-censorship forces in the UK's political establishment. It does not call for incremental tweaks. In publishing the model bill, we seek to start a debate about whether the UK state, as a general constitutional principle, should retain the power to censor any Britain's non-violent expression on pain of fines and imprisonment under any circumstances. We seek a debate about how the UK's censorship laws and practices, all of them, all at once. We seek that debate because we are confident that debate is one we will win. That's a part I can do. I will stand up in Parliament and call them all retards. Well, also proven but every single point they've ever made completely fucking wrong.
They are fucking
The model bill is an attempt to create a First Amendment for the United Kingdom. It is organised in 8 parts and 6 schedules. It establishes a broad statutory right to free expression, defines narrow exceptions, imposes duties on the state and essential service providers, creates new protections in employment and equality law, repeals most of the UK's existing legal censorship architecture, and provides enforcement mechanisms for persons whose rights are violated by the state. That is wonderful. Beautiful. I like this. That's right. Yeah. It's gorgeous. Again, I would like protections to stop the government from fucking with it, but they'll work that out. It's fine. The right to freedom of expression. Part 2 establishes the core freedom.
A lot of politicians
are
a bunch of fucking babies.
Person to hold opinions
as
and
soon as
engage
they get
in lawful
criticism
expression
to them, they
may not be violated by
they
the
don't
state.
know how to fucking react.
That right extends to expression that is offensive, grossly offensive, insulting, abusive, shocking, blasphemous, indecent, or otherwise objectionable.
Right, you call them out
Section
for their
5 states
bullshit,
the
and they're
principle
like,
plainly.
"You shut up,
There is no
we're
right
jail
in
you."
law not to be offended by the expression of others, and that is absolutely true. You do not have a right to not be offended. You do not have a right to not feel sad or be made because that's the thing is, right, if being made to feel sad or being made to feel disgusted or feel offended is something that's worthy of an arrest, I will get the entirety of mainstream TV arrested because I hate mainstream TV. It's cheesy, it's corny, it makes me feel uncomfortable. I'll get them all arrested. If that's grounds for an arrest, sure, we can continue down this path if you want. Every single one of us are going to jail.
Yeah, how about they arrest the
every
people
single
who
one
are
of us,
spreading
which is why we should
misinformation
probably get
and
rid of those
disinformation.
stupid fucking laws. Where was I? There we are. Section 6 defines the irreducible core of expression the model bill seeks to inviolably protect, where speech on matters of public interest, including politics, morality, philosophy, and religion is made. No person may be convicted or sanctioned for such expression unless it falls within a defined category of unprotected expression and the conditions for liability are strictly met. Unprotected expression. Part 3 defines what expression is not protected. The model bill adopts the American Brandenburg test. There it is. Yes. There it fucking is. Clarence Brandenburg versus the state of Ohio, 1968. Absolutely. Yep. Oh, that's good.
Nice.
That's good, Preston. Well done.
He's even using some of America's
inflammatory expression is unlawful when it is
laws
directed to a specific audience intended to produce imminent lawless action and likely to produce such actions. Now, you might think, oh, well, that's it. It's actually pretty hard to prove. Clarence Brandenburg, he was in the KKK, and he said a bunch of things that a KKK guy would say. Ultimately, he was found guilty, but basically, when they done Brandenburg versus Ohio, all the charges get dropped because it's a very difficult thing to prove in court. It's actually pretty difficult to prove in court. Basically, you would need to be, you would need to get caught with, like, you know, nitrate in your bedroom or something like that. You would need basically, it's a very difficult thing to prove in court.
Right, they would need to be caught in an action that would be, in a sense,
advocacy,
violent.
praise, or defense of unlawful conduct in general terms is not incitement. Beyond incitement, the model bill preserves criminal liability for perjury, contempt of court, unlawful threats, fraud, blackmail, offences under the National Security Act 2023,
he did not become violent,
and the Official
so
Secrets
they had
Act
to
of
toss it
1989.
out.
So all of this is obviously the giant olive branch that's been handed
I mean,
over
he
for the normies.
in a sense, he didn't do anything wrong.
Free speech is
Right,
actually
he was
supposed
just,
to work. But all of that, okay, it's fine. Right, okay. Not perfect, right? But we do have to give a great big olive branch to the normies. Right, that's fine. That's not a problem. Procuring or assisting crime, criminal conspiracy, defamation, and harassment, as well as any unlawful speech specifically designated by Parliament. Now, some people talk about the harassment thing sometimes, and they go, "Oh well, if someone's wanting to contact you and talk to you and say all these things to you, that's their right to do that." Surely, well, not really, because freedom of speech also means freedom from speech. Right, someone can go around and say whatever they want all the time, and the basic again, the olive branch we give to the people that don't like hearing that stuff is they don't have to listen to it. They should be able to walk away, they should be able to block, they should be able to just do all of those things where they don't receive that information. Right, whereas if you get someone who's making multiple accounts all the time and they're continually trying to talk to this person and that person doesn't want to speak to them, that person is then no longer free from that person's speech. They've made the decision themselves not to listen. This person is then basically trying to force them to listen, so that is a violation of their rights. That's basically the way it would work. Or at least again, talk to Preston, he'll know more than me. The model bill also amends the Protection from Harassment Act 1997 to clarify that a person does not harass another merely by posting content that the other person chooses to seek out, subscribe to, or monitor, avoiding situations such as those where citizens who choose to report on matters of public interest, such as the police, without actually contacting the subjects of the reporting, are then arrested under that act. Because, yeah, that's something that people try and do, like, I'm trying. No, I'm not going to discuss that. Basically, I was telling the truth about something and someone didn't like it very much and tried to have me arrested. Like that was it. That's as much as I'm going to go into that. Restrictions on state action. Part 4 prohibits the state from censoring lawful expression directly or indirectly, including by imposing conditions on licenses, funding, or benefits that require a person to adopt a particular political or ideological opinion. Oh, that's good. That is good. Section 14 bans non-crime speech monitoring, so there goes your non-crime hate incidents, including the recording of lawful expression. Oh, there you go, non-crime hate incident, and requires the destruction of any records that may exist in violation of that rule. Section 15 closes the outsourcing loophole. The state may not arrange for, fund, or procure censorship through third parties. Clever. I like it. This is why I can sit here and go, free speech bill. We need a free speech bill. But then when you get the actual lawyers on it, like, they think of shit that I didn't think of. Right, so yeah. Compelled speech is prohibited. Great.
Well,
That's
basically,
no public authority may require any person
jobs
as
are
a condition
to
of employment, education,
find
professional
all
licensing,
avenues
or
or
citizenship
find all
to declare or
examples,
affirm
all
any
paths that
political,
would
moral,
lead to,
religious, or ideological
unconstitutional
belief
things.
other than
and then they
allegiance
tried
to the crown.
fix it up so that,
which is okay.
nothing,
That's a traditional one.
can,
You do kind of have to do that.
fuck up people's human
Intellectual
rights.
discrimination. Part 5 amends the Employment Rights Act 1996
At
to
least some
protect
of them
workers
do.
from detriment and employees from dismissal on the ground of lawful expression made in a personal capacity outside the workplace. That is great, because there's so many people that want to get involved in political activism, but they can't. My camera has died. My camera fucking died. Shit. Oh dear. Hold on, can I fix this? Fuck, I will be right back. Fucking hell.
Rip. Oh, there it goes. It's back. Oh, no, it's not back.
2 seconds. I'm just changing the battery.
Oh.
I would keep reading, but I can't read the fucking screen. And my camera's also miles away from me because my fucking lens... this is a short lens as well, and I'm still about 6 feet away from the camera. Shit. Fucking get out. There we go. I want to continue. The show must go on. It's fine. I don't know if I'm digging this new setup. It's not working the way I hoped. Are we back? We're back. There we go. Thank you. Sorry about that. But anyway... it also amends the Equality Act 2010 to make lawful expression a protected characteristic for the purposes of services, education, employment, and associations. In keeping with the Equality Act's protections for belief, if belief is protected, so too must be the expression of those beliefs outside of the workplace. Glorious. The model bill also inserts a freedom from compelled expression into the Equality Act. Nothing in that act requires any person to express, endorse, or facilitate any message, opinion, or viewpoint, and a refusal to do so does not of itself constitute discrimination. Essential services and the internet. Part 6 prohibits essential service providers, including banks, payment services, telecoms, and domain registries, from refusing or withdrawing services on the ground that a person has engaged in lawful expression. Again, this is something which would be unconstitutional in America, but fits within the UK's tradition of non-discrimination. Now, I understand that basically private companies do in fact get to do whatever they want. Like, nobody has a right to your services or your labour, right? So you should be allowed to basically, it doesn't matter what the reason is, you should be allowed to just
laws
go
are basically
and not serve that person and not have anything to do with that
general
person.
Public laws.
And that should be the way things are. However, basically the way it works in Britain is because of the overwhelming amount of bureaucracy and regulation over shit tons of different businesses, you can't just go and start your own bank, or go and start your own this, or go and start your own that, because basically you've been priced and regulated out of ever even hoping of having a way of doing that. Right, so basically it would be a case of, oh well, you can not serve that person because there's a million different other options that will. Whereas over here, a lot of the things have been monopolised, so it is a little bit of a problem when you get deplatformed or debanked, because then there's pretty much nowhere else that you're able to
there's
go.
a lot of monopolies
Right,
over
and that
in
ends
these
up becoming
countries.
a bit of a huge problem, right? So right now, this will do for now. This will do for now, where they're not allowed to do it. However, ideally, as a libertarian, right, ideally I would like that to not be the case. But in order for that to basically be able to work where everyone can deny whoever they want for service, you need to remove all the regulations and bureaucracy behind starting companies. Right, but again, this will do for now. This will do for now. Again, this is something which would
do, little pig.
From refusing. I've just read that. Again, this is something which would be unconstitutional in America, but fits within the UK's tradition of non-discrimination. Section 20 will doubtlessly be one of the most controversial items of legislation in this proposal. The repeal schedule repeals the Online Safety Act in its entirety. Great. Oh no, are parents going to have to actually parent? Oh dear. Oh, get up off the fucking couch and go look at your kids' devices and see what they're fucking up to, you lazy prick. And that entire regime is placed with a provision modelled on Section 230 of the US Communications Decency Act. No provider or user of an interactive computer service is to be treated as the publisher of content provided by another. For such a short provision, the American experience shows that the decision to enact a Section 230 style rule is very complex. This decision was informed by a number of competing policy considerations, foremost among them the need for the UK to succeed economically in a digital and globalized world. Because basically if you start like just fining all of these internet companies into oblivion, they're just going to leave. They're just going to leave, and they're going to take all their corporation tax and their employees with their taxes.
I mean, just look at California. A bunch of companies
this is what happened.
A bunch of companies and people are leaving California because of the taxes and all the bullshit.
Higher
going
taxation,
on in California.
fucking brutal regulations, but fucking the fact is, how long does it take us to get started on building a housing scheme? 6 years. So basically, in order, for Barratt Homes to build a Barratt Home estate, it takes 6 years of bureaucracy and lawyers and money and payments and regulatory bodies and inspection and, oh no, you actually can't do it here because the red kite hawk nests about 2 miles away, blah, blah, blah. It takes up to 6 years before they even stick a shovel in the ground. Right? Bureaucracy really holds us the fuck back. You've no idea. There's a brilliant video called "Why Can't We Build Anything Anymore?" And it's basically we've clapped shackles on ourselves. Yeah, the government's clapped shackles on itself, and it can't fucking do anything now.
Yeah, you shackle yourself to the bureaucracy hell.
Anything.
Well, you're not going to get anything done for
they have to do it cheaply. That's why you get these concrete, glass, and plastic monstrosities instead of actual nice fucking buildings. But I digress. Also, this has went on for a while, so I might wrap this up soon because, well, I want to go to the gym. But anyway, that does not mean that the Free Speech Act... that does not mean that the Free Speech Act proposes to turn the UK into a digital Wild West. Unlike the effect of Section 230 on US state criminal laws, UK criminal law is completely unaffected by this immunity, which applies to civil liability only. Like Section 230, platforms retain full discretion to moderate content they consider objectionable, as in they can get rid of it if they want. And with a handful of exceptions, many major platforms already censor content that the UK finds illegal. Section 20 imposes one mandatory obligation on platforms. They are required to detect and remove CSAM. So, child sexual abuse media. I think that's what it stands for.
Or but
yeah, that's the only one where everyone's going to go fair. Fair. That's just fair. There's any free speech argument whenever Indy's making it, everyone goes,
because in a
what
sense,
about CP? And everyone's like, we'll get rid of that.
It is in a sense media
that's just
because
the one
of
thing that everyone universally agrees upon. Nobody's
video,
going to debate that. Oh no, wait,
maybe
they will.
Maybe voice recordings.
But anyway,
possibly.
and render a report to law enforcement within 24 hours of obtaining actual knowledge of its existence. Yes, that's good. That's good that it gets reported to the police.
Even drawing pictures.
Automated systems widely in use should make the takedown and reporting procedure nearly instant in most cases. Failure to adhere to this requirement is already punishable under existing UK criminal law. Now, here's a thing that I heard, right? I don't know if this is true, I'll need to double check, but allegedly, somewhere out there is a database with every single piece of CSAM that all law enforcement agencies all around the world have found. And they all put it into this one central database.
Well, because it's evidence.
Anytime you upload any image or video,
yes, they keep the evidence
to the internet.
Yeah, you could basically say that the biggest holder of CSAM material is CSAM.
And then if you have it, automatically
police organizations,
it, and then it gets reported to the police and everything. That's great, right? That's good that happens, right? But basically, out there somewhere is a server that contains all of it.
Correct.
All of it. That's just Amoshi. Like, I'm putting together a team. I'm sorry. But anyway, I know I'm not debating him again. People are messaging me. I'm not debating him again. He's a piece of shit, right? I don't want to talk to him. I thought there was a little bit of an off chance that maybe he was just being a bit of a little funny monkey with a weird little fucking hill that he wanted to die on. And then I even asked him, I went, "Are you a?" And he said no, and then hey ho, what did he get caught doing? But anyway, where was I? Yeah, automated system widely new. Oh, in fact, I've just read that. So the position of the online safety and the FSA is reverted to that in January 2025. I lived in the UK as recently as 2017, and it wasn't a post-apocalyptic anarchist hellscape. Repealing the Online Safety Act in full, as this model bill proposes to do, won't make it one. It will, however, end the UK's exercise of censorship powers over political speech online, or requiring every person in the UK to dox themselves in order to use their iPhones. That seems like a good trade. Now, I've went right over time on this, and I want to go to the gym, guys. I'm sorry, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to this article down below, and I'll put a link to the bill there. You can also find Preston Byrne on Twitter. I forget his just search up the name Preston Byrne, you'll be able to find him, right? But basically, ideally, I would just like there to be no government. However, unfortunately, I want to play chess, but everybody's playing checkers, so fine, I'll play by the rules, right? This would be a great thing for Britain, an actual freedom of speech bill. This would be amazing. This Nazi Pug would never have happened. You wouldn't have had the Chelsea Russell case. You won't have all these mums getting sent away for years and years because of shit that they posted on Facebook. And you won't have the police wasting so much fucking time to the point where there's dozens and dozens of police forces being investigated.
You spend a lot of money and time
because in the last year they haven't
putting
solved
non-violent crimes like this into fucking...
Right, so I think police resources are stretched a little bit
people
thin,
into cages.
so let's not have them policing arguments
it's not going to
anymore.
bode well
Let's
for your
not have
fucking
them destroying people's lives
court
because
system,
somebody
jail
decided
system.
to say something spicy
you
on
gotta
Twitter.
make it fucking
Most of the time
overflow,
they're not
man.
even trying to cause offence, they're trying to express
and
their
then you
anger,
can't put
grief,
any
or
of the
dismay
heinous
at the current
criminals
state of the
inside
nation.
the fucking
Right,
cage
those type
because
of
you
people should not be
just
arrested. We
shoved
should be
in a lot of
arresting
non-violent
actual
crime
fucking criminals
people
and
in
not
there.
wasting so much police time and money and court time and taxes on garbage. Right, okay, you were offended by something, so fucking what? Give it 5 minutes, go outside, have a fag, calm down, you'll be alright. You'll be fine. Let's not let it result in a fucking tax burden of £100,000 with all the police and judge work that has to go into policing your little fucking feelings. Right? Yep. This would be a good thing. Again, not great that it would be the government backing it up. You know, the government, we investigated ourselves and found that we did nothing wrong. Right? Not ideal. However, I think it's probably going to be the best we're ever going to get.
Well, there you go. Oh, I accidentally left that. And then, let's see. UN investigate Keir Starmer, an alleged human rights violation.
Breaking tonight, the United Nations is reviewing where Sir Keir Starmer's Chagos surrender breaches international human rights laws. There they are once again rearing their ugly head. Officials are assessing allegations that the Prime Minister is committing ethnic cleansing and potential crimes against humanity for attempting to evict native Chagossians from the archipelago as part of his plans to cede the British territory to Mauritius. That follows Mauritius pledging to reclaim control of the Chagos Islands after the UK was forced to shelve the deal. And just as a reminder, this is the reasoning that Sir Keir Starmer gave for the deal in the first place.
This is absolutely vital for our defence and intelligence, and therefore
well, you're
for the
not really
safety and
doing a good
security
job on that one.
of the British people. The strategic location of this base is of the utmost significance to Britain. And if Mauritius took us to court again, which they certainly would have, the UK's long-standing legal view is that we would not have a realistic prospect of success.
We are run by lawyers. Joining me in London is my panel of former Conservative advisor Charlie Rowley and political commentator Matthew Stadlin.
This important interruption is brought to you by ExpressVPN and their massive spring deal. Step into spring with a huge saving of up to planning to not the year, but hurry and get
of crimes against you. Matthew, I'll start with you. Whether or not they can reach the bar of crimes against humanity, I'm not so sure. But the interesting thing about the Chagos deal is that the party of self-determination, the party of the oppressed minority, haven't taken into account the views of Chagossians as they've gone through this process. That's a bit odd, isn't it?
Well, I didn't see this story coming, I must admit. It's a serious story, but if it weren't serious, it would be almost comical. Listen,
the whole saga is comical in many ways.
It was wrong for us as a country to expel Chagossians however many decades ago it is now. That was wrong. But this is a problem for Nigel Farage and for Kemi Badenoch because they have professed to be extremely worried about the national security implications. You're smiling already, Charlie. About the national security implications of handing over ownership to Mauritius. But if these 4 Chagossians, I think it's 4 Chagossians who are looking for help from the United Nations on this issue, if they were to succeed, and if Britain were forced to hand over the Chagos Islands to the Chagossians, and by the way, as I understand it, different Chagossians think different things about the ownership and what should be done. But if these Chagossians were to be successful, if we had to hand over the Chagossian Islands to the Chagossians, even if these particular Chagossians say you can keep the base, that creates years and decades of uncertainty over a base that we all agree is strategically so vital. So
sorry, just quickly, my understanding is really they are just hoping to retain the status quo and British control over the islands. I think they're not really hoping that they will get to a level of self-determination.
That's very possible. We'd have to look at the detail of it. But in principle, if Nigel Farage and whoever else is saying that Chagossians have a right to be there, well, if you follow that logic through, and we were forced to hand over the islands to Chagossians, and I agree, I don't think that a tiny number of people can sustain a nationhood, but if we had to do that, that's not going to be in our interest from a national security point of view.
Charlie, your right of reply.
Well, this is not a problem for Kemi and Nigel. That's what tickled my fancy. This is a problem for the Prime Minister. This is the 17th, 18th, 19th U-turn. I've lost count.
It's a surrender on a surrender.
It's the idea that it's absolutely vital, you heard the Prime Minister say there, that it was of the utmost importance that we be sued by the Mauritians. Oh, I'm creaking in my boots. This was a piece of land, territory that we were going to hand over and lease back at the pretty penny of £35 billion without any real say over
That's the Tory number.
Because,
I think the government's number is 3 billion.
No doubt the other side.
3 billion too many is the point.
3 billion would be nice to save as well, if you look at the welfare bill, for example. But this is a headache for the Prime Minister. It's been a complete.
But Charlie, call it a U-turn. It's just not fair. I'd go as far as to say it was potentially intellectually dishonest to suggest that this is a U-turn by Starmer. Starmer has been forced into this,
and rightly so.
By
the UN. Right, the UN's looking at him now.
By the President of the United States. That's not a U-turn. The person who's U-turned on it and flip-flopped is Donald Trump. He has changed his mind repeatedly. It was fine last year. It was fine. We were told it was fine, and then he changed his mind because he had a fit of pique over Greenland. That's the truth.
I think there is also an element that he actually didn't really know what was going on in the Chagos Islands and started speaking about, which is also not a good thing. But the other thing here is, ironically, I actually think there is a very easy get out for Keir Starmer, which is tell the UN to basically go jump in a lake. And because there is no real enforcement mechanism for whatever it is that they want to hold against the United Kingdom, there is not going to be any consequences. But unfortunately, Keir Starmer doesn't buy into that. The only thing he does believe in is international human rights law.
Well, that's exactly, which makes it even more fascinating, because the UN is sort of suggesting, as my understanding is, that actually if the deal had gone through, that would have been...
the idea of Keir Starmer being found guilty of ethnic cleansing, I mean...
Well, exactly, which is why you should never have gone forward with the deal.
No, Charlie, went forward for the same reason the Tories were progressing this. They went forward because he thought it was in our interest.
I need to bring in my Washington panel here, Hilary Fordwich and Mally Smith. Hilary, I will go to you. How seriously do you think that Keir Starmer is taking these potential claims or a case of ethnic cleansing and genocide?
Well, one would hope that he'd actually take it very seriously, Will. Why? Because he's an international lawyer, isn't he? He's all about human rights. And I'm with Nigel Farage, who said it's so ironic that now it might be the international courts of human rights that might scupper this ridiculous deal. So I'm assuming he's going to take their consideration and their ruling and their investigation extremely seriously. And I think this is one of the most humiliating areas for him, because it was supposed to be his expertise. And as we know, he wants a platform on the global stage.
It's because UK needs the support of the US to help.
And to have President Trump call this absolutely a ludicrous deal, in different words,
make the deal go
to say
through
how
in a sense.
Stupid this deal was, basically, I think that's really damning. And I think
there's also I see. There's also a US UK. That's why, because there's a US UK base.
International human rights lawyer
and
that
they don't want to give that
botch
up.
his own deal.
Yeah, it is amazing how frequently we hear on social media from the Labor Party and Keir Starmer, we are acting in the national interest, which I would have thought should actually go without saying. So they must be being slaughtered in focus groups by people saying that they are not putting the British people first. Mally, to you, what have you heard behind the scenes in Washington around how this deal is perceived both in the White House and amongst the defence establishment?
Well, my understanding is that President Trump didn't have really a strong opinion on it, and we've kind of seen that in his statements and his administration statements. For a while, it seemed whoever he talked to last, whether it was Keir Starmer telling him why this deal made sense, or it was someone in the opposition telling him why it didn't make sense, or someone in his administration saying why they thought the deal was good or bad, he would parrot what he heard previously. I think the problem for Starmer is that his recent issues he's had with President Trump in regards to President Trump perceiving him as not doing enough in the Iran war is now going to affect the Chagos deal, because President Trump isn't going to compartmentalize these things, especially because he might say he has strong feelings on it. I will tell you, I feel pretty confident that Trump does not really care about this issue. What he cares about,
I think he doesn't really care. He's just making the UK fucking quiver in their boots.
So I would hope if you're Keir Starmer, you don't ask him about it, or people don't talk to him about it.
He's just giving shit to Starmer because he didn't help out with the Iran stuff or the Strait of Hormuz stuff.
Sorry, but to add, I just do think President Trump does care about being able to launch from bases that are jointly ours, and that was something that Keir Starmer thwarted. So that note means that he very much cared on that particular note.
Yeah, well, of course, there was that.
Yeah, and Keir Starmer was the one to say no.
Why is the UK doing this? Do they need the money or something? And everyone in the UK was saying, Donald, mate, we are paying people in order to give away these islands in the worst deal in the history of deal-making.
With this military
Hillary, thank you very much for your time. A spokesperson from the Foreign Office previously told GB News, we have always been clear that if a long-term deal was not reached, there was a risk of further litigation.
Some of these countries, without the US's help, would fall fucking instantly.
For base operations. Instead, the government acted decisively to address threats to the base's operations, to protect national security interests and safeguard our shared defense capabilities.
They need that money from the US.
But let's first.
Oh yeah, apparently Orban lost his 16-year run as president of Hungary.
Across to Budapest, we can get more reaction with Armin Georgian. Armin, as we're speaking, 60.24% of the vote has been counted, and 136 seats projected to go to Peter Magyar. It is as things stand. It could still change, but what does this mean? I mean, we've already seen Orban conceding defeat. He says it's a massive defeat, and it ends 16 years in power.
I mean, this really is a bombshell. It's a political earthquake for Hungary and for Europe, Jean-Emile. I think we can't understate that. I mean, Orban was in power for 16 years, and now he has conceded defeat to his opponent, Peter Magyar. Frankly, a lot of people were not expecting this to happen, at least not so soon in the evening. And we now know exactly how this unfolded. Peter Magyar posting on Facebook that he had been called by Viktor Orban to concede defeat and to congratulate Magyar on his victory. Then we saw Prime Minister Orban addressing supporters at Fidesz headquarters, where he effectively confirmed that, saying, "We will serve our nation from opposition." He said the election result is clear, saying also, "We will never give up." So perhaps a slight hint that he might try a sort of Donald Trump-style return to power in 4 years' time. Obviously, that's just speculation from me. But you have to remember, Orban actually served one term, then was out of power, then came back into power. But this is a seismic shift, Jean-Emile, no doubt about that. The choice, as it was billed in this election campaign, was a choice between Hungary being firmly anchored in the European Union and the European project and the Western Alliance, or Hungary drifting further east and probably more problems and conflicts between Budapest and Brussels. So this is a massive change, because Peter Magyar has promised to rehabilitate relations between Budapest and Brussels. Those have been fraught for many years. So this has absolutely huge implications. I mean, first of all, of course, for Hungarians that have very clearly voted for change, that message is unmistakable, and a lot of that comes down to what they want on domestic policy there. They want a change on the economy, where they've been suffering these, high food prices and inflation and so forth. They want to change in public services, healthcare, education, all those things. And clearly they do want a clear European future for their country. And just to come back a bit to what I said about to the concession that Orban made, I think he made it when it was clear that the chips were down, because if indeed 136 seats in Hungary's parliament for TISA are confirmed, that would actually give them a supermajority. That's really important, because what that would mean, and I stress this is still hypothetical, right? Because there's no final official seat count in the Hungarian parliament. It's a complex process of working it out. But if it's confirmed that they have 136 seats and that supermajority, they can do a lot. They can basically start undoing the things that Orban did when it comes to things
a lot
like
of people voted for him because
grip
of
on the media, all kinds
with
of other
voters
things. They can
citing
actually,
corruption, economic stagnation, and misuse of public funds as decisive issues.
How quickly could
And
that
that's
happen?
basically
in theory?
why they wanted to vote him out.
Well, the contrast that people always draw with, or the comparison is with Poland, where this pro-European government of Donald Tusk came into power, won back power in a parliamentary election, but then was thwarted from carrying out those reforms that it promised. But in Poland, it's a slightly different situation. They have a so-called cohabitation with a conservative president, so it is objectively difficult there. Here in Hungary, though, it's a parliamentary system, so the prime minister can do a lot, as we've seen during Viktor Orban's 16 years in power. So I don't know how quickly they could do it, Jean-Emile, but the crucial point is that if they have the supermajority, they have the means to do it. Anything less, anything short of that, in the final seat tally in the parliament here, would mean that those promised or that those hoped for reforms that TISA voters want and that the people voted for in this election, that they would then be much more difficult to achieve.
Absolutely. Well, we'll keep an eye on it. Certainly, it all depends on what the final results actually are. We must stress only 60%, 60.24% have been voted so far. Well, counted, rather, and 136 seats as it stands for TISA.
Yeah, it's looking like he lost. Hungary's Viktor Orban concedes defeat after painful election that ended Trump allies 16 years in power. 16 years in power. Hungarian right-wing populist Prime Minister Viktor Orban conceded defeat Sunday after suffering a painful election result. Grip on Budapest. With 60% of the vote counted by afternoon, Orban's governing Fidesz party saw only 38% of the ballots cast in its favor, compared to 52% for challenger Peter Magyar's Tija's group. Thank you, Hungary, Magyar. 45. God, I can't even say his name. Fucking what a weird last name. 45 posted on X as thousands of his supporters celebrated in Budapest. Orban, who received the backing of President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance, said he called Magyar to concede the race once it was evident his party had lost. I congratulated the victorious party, Orban told his supporters. We are going to serve the Hungarian nation and our homeland from opposition as well. Orban's loss serves as a major blow to the right-wing populist movement, as it brings an end to the tenure of the European Union's longest-serving leader and key Western ally to Russian President Vladimir Putin. The election drummed up more than 77% voter turnout, a record number in any race in Hungary's post-communist history, according to its national election office. Magyar, who faced an uphill battle against Orban, ran on a pro-European, anti-Russian platform. Well, I mean, he probably did that because, right, I mean, because Russia's still right there encroaching on fucking Ukraine, right? Orban has faced repeated criticisms for his cozying up to Putin, with his admin repeatedly accused of acting on Russia's behalf within the European Union. When casting his vote, Magyar told reporters that the election was a choice between East or West, propaganda, or honest public discourse, corruption, or clean public health. Or life, sorry. Well, health, too. Magyar hailed the victory as a new day for the country while thanking citizens for the massive turnout. I'm asking our supporters and all Hungarians, let's stay peaceful, cheerful, and if the results confirm our expectations, let's throw a big Hungarian carnival, Magyar said. Magyar was once a member of Orban's Fidesz party before breaking rank in 2024 to form the Tiza party. Along with his anti-Russian approach, the politician campaigned on everyday issues affecting Hungarians, including government corruption, public health care, and transportation. Despite Orban's control of Hungary's public media, Magyar and Tiza were able to rally Hungarians against the Prime Minister's party and secure their victory. Tiza is a member of the European People's Party and serves as a center-right political party. Tiza notably won 30% of the vote in European Parliament elections in 2024, with Magyar taking a seat as an EU lawmaker. Orban's loss comes just a week after Trump's latest endorsement of the Hungarian leader, which culminated in a 2-day visit from Vance to try and help the premier over the finish line. While Orban's political stances had garnered backlash from Europe, they've been embraced by Trump and MAGA Republicans who see his crackdowns on the media, universities, and LGBTQ rights as a playbook that can be replicated in the US. Yeah, I don't know how this is gonna go well, right? Because apparently Orban was taking some points from America to try and, right, rule over Hungary, and now he's gonna be out of power possibly. So, well, we don't know what's gonna happen to Hungary now, right? We don't know who this guy is, right? He's a new guy in political power if he actually wins. So, who knows if he's gonna do any partnerships or he's gonna, well, most likely, since he's pro-EU. So, we'll see what happens. It's not into, the voting is not done yet, so we'll see. How much will Hungary change? How much will it change? Let's see. Eric Swallowwell drops bid for California governor after sexual misconduct allegations. Ex-UN ambassador Nikki Haley on 2028 presidential run. Oh, Jesus. Workers at major Colorado meatpacking plan win wage increases and deal with JBS USA. Strikes on alleged drug boats kill 5, leave 1 survivor in Eastern Pacific, U.S. military says. Oh man, there's still drug boats trying to come into the country. Yeah. Well, there goes the black market trade. U.S. Central Command says it will begin blockade of Iranian ports Monday. Well, they're probably trying to blockade Iranian ports so that they can't lay more mines and shit in the Strait of Hormuz. UK will not help in blockades of Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, we already know that. Viktor Orban concedes Hungarian election. Yeah, we just saw that stuff. Watchdog and Republican lawmaker raise concerns about safeguards in New York voter registration system. Monthly payment for new cars hit astonishing milestone. Trump criticizes Pope Leo XIV as tensions grow over Iran war. Yeah, we saw his, we saw him talk about that in his, flight back from Miami or whatever. Or from Miami, yeah. Or to Miami, sorry. U.S. and Iran fail to reach agreement after historic peace talks in Pakistan. Trump says makes no difference to him if Iran-U.S. reach a deal. Commercial salmon fishing to open California for the first time since 2022 as population rebounds. Economists say world far better equipped for oil shocks than in the 1970s. CIA used Pentagon spyware to deceive Iran during airman rescue, report said. IBM agrees to pay $17 million in DOJ DEI settlement. Holy shit. IBM is the, whatchamacallit, that technical, right, they do, home security, and they do a lot of tech stuff. International Business Machines Corporation, right? Tech industry stuff. Big player in the tech world. Netanyahu visits IDF troops in southern Lebanon, says security zone thwarted invasion threat. Hamas to meet Egyptian mediators over alleged Gaza truce violations by Israel. Palestinian man donated a kidney in 2023 may be ineligible for refugee claim. Mississippi reveals its full history for America's anniversary year, a contrast to federal efforts. Cuba's president says we would die to defend against U.S. invasion. Brother, you can't even keep your lights on in your own country. What the fuck are you talking about? Your economy is such fucking just dog shit. U.S. failed to gain the trust of Iranian officials in ceasefire talks, parliament leader. An exclusive 23-story Miami hotel vanishes in less than 20 seconds with implosion. Oh, they had to demolish it? Anthropic sought Christian leaders' advice on Claude's morality. Why the fuck are you going to Christian... What? What? It's like that, didn't they make a, basically a, an AI that's based on, like, fucking, right, Christian bullshit, right, Christian religion? Like the Jesus AI or whatever. There were some, religious tech bros trying to make that AI. Iran lost track of its own mines in Hormuz. Yeah, we already know. Congress to tackle DHS shutdown gov funding. Voter ID bill on return. Police union says Seattle terrorized by criminals as socialist mayor focuses on battling ICE. Chicago teachers want no school on May Day, testing the city's mayor and school leaders. Study finds 3 district types of black hole mergers. Oh shit. Trump warns China over reported arms shipments to Iran. Yeah, we already know. That was from like yesterday and the day before. Man arrested over alleged damage to U.S. military plane on Shannon Airport in Western Ireland. Iran war diverts U.S. military attention from Asia ahead of Trump summit with China's leader. Yeah, basically he put the meeting on hold until until the conflict is over. Oberg delivers first round KO to win light heavyweight belt as Trump takes spotlight at UFC 327. Yeah, he finished in like what it was like a 3-minute and like 45-second fight in the first round. Yeah, that was insane. And it was supposed to be a 5-round match, right? Because it was right, a 5-round match. Yeah, light heavyweight belt. Yeah, so 5-round match. So whenever there's a contention for the belt, it's 5 rounds of was it 5 minutes of just people beating the shit out of each other. Oh yeah, here's this.
After 21 hours of closed-door diplomacy, US President Donald Trump has vowed to blockade the Strait of Hormuz. The US says Iran won't agree to abandon its nuclear ambitions, while Tehran claims the Americans had not earned its trust. Iran's Revolutionary Guard is warning that any military vessels
Iran is
attempting
probably
to
not going to
approach
be
the Strait of
able
Hormuz
to earn
will
our
be
trust
breaking the
for a
ceasefire
long
and will be dealt
while.
with harshly.
As long as the IRGC
America's
and the
Vice
Gayatollahs
President
are still
left here
there.
with no breakthrough to show for his efforts. After marathon talks lasting almost 24 hours, he appeared early morning.
And that's not even talking about the other militant, other militant fucking terrorist organizations within the fucking country
bad
too.
news for the United States of America.
It was,
because the whole most of the Middle East and certain countries have just a lot of fucking crazy,
that they will not seek a nuclear
religious
weapon,
fanatic
and they will not
fucking
seek the
crazies
tools that would enable
fucking
them
up
to
everything.
quickly achieve a nuclear weapon. That is the core goal of the President of the United States, and that's what we've tried to achieve through these negotiations.
The news from Islamabad prompted a
I mean,
furious
shit,
reaction
just look
back
at
in
Lebanon.
Washington, and
They
a
can't
threat
even
from
get rid of
President Trump
Hezbollah.
to escalate this war yet further, with the U.S. naval blockade of the Strait of Hormuz.
Oh,
which is
also, I
already
think the
shut by
Pakistan
Iran.
fucking
It raises the
Afghan
spectre
war is
of
still going
markets
on, I
plunging with the
think.
open tomorrow and clashes at sea. But speaking on a U.S. news channel, the president claimed NATO allies will be helping clear the strait.
We have highly sophisticated
No one's talking about
underwater
that one.
minesweepers, which are the latest and the greatest, but we're also bringing in more traditional minesweepers. And so I understand is the UK and a couple of other countries are sending minesweepers.
The talks here were historic and serious, the highest level face-to-face U.S. negotiations
Yeah,
with
they're
Iran
still fighting.
since its revolution in the 70s.
Nobody's
Iranians
fucking
were sounding
talking
more
about that one
conciliatory
either.
than the Americans, saying some progress have been made.
On some issues, we actually reached mutual understanding, but there was a gap over 2 or 3 important issues, and ultimately the talks didn't result in an agreement.
Pakistani mediators say the diplomacy is not over yet.
We hope that the two sides continue with the positive spirit to achieve durable peace and prosperity for the entire region and beyond. It is imperative that the parties continue to uphold their commitment to ceasefire.
There's now a frantic effort by many other nations to help put the diplomacy back on track. There is so much at stake. A resumption in hostilities is now more than possible, but for the Americans, the challenge is that the use of force has failed to solve the Iran problem, its nuclear issue, and its control now, the Strait of Hormuz, in 6 weeks of war. So why should it now? Talks here may have foundered, but clearly made some progress. There is a chance of building on that, but not if the US is embarking on yet more escalation, this time at sea. Dominic Waghorn, Sky News, Islamabad.
There you go. Let's see what's going on here.
It is Sunday, April 12th. Welcome to the show. CENTCOM confirming they have begun the process of demining the Strait of Hormuz, clearing out the strait. President Trump walking away from the negotiating table, telling the vice president, no deal, as negotiations between the United States and the Islamic Republic completely stall out. J.D. Vance saying this is bad news for Iran, much more so than for the United States.
Correct.
Iran wrongly assuming they control the Strait of Hormuz, how that's all the leverage they needed to win these negotiations. The president, though, not biting. In fact, he just ordered that leverage point to be completely taken away from the Islamic Republic of Iran, ordering the U.S. Navy to clear the strait of any mines and to begin the process of blockading any and all ships trying to enter or leave the waterway, cutting Iran down at their knees. Yes, the Islamic Republic wrongly assuming the United States wanted a deal above anything else. Clearly, that is not the case.
Effective immediately, the president states the United States Navy,
I mean,
the
look, if
finest
the
in the
deal
world,
is not,
will begin the process of
if
blockading
they can't come
any
to
and
a
all
deal
ships
with
trying to
everyone
enter
happy,
or leave
obviously they're
the
not
Strait
going
of
to make a
Hormuz.
deal.
Trump has called their bluff. He has basically captured the hostage and says, no more. You're not going to do it. And I predict that other countries that rely on that oil and gas more than the United States does, are going to come around and realize that this is probably the only way forward.
So Iran felt like they had the upper hand, that they had leverage by trying to take this strait. And in a,
as they always
1,394 square mile center of that strait, where hundreds of tankers are passing every day, they have allegedly mined it. Reports are that they don't even know where the mines are. They put it there.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, breaking this morning, the President of the United States announcing to the world that the U.S. Navy with other countries will begin to blockade the Strait of Hormuz, effective immediately, halting the Islamic Republic of Iran's extortion racket. President Trump writing this. So there you have it. The meeting went well, most points agreed to, but the only point that really mattered, nuclear, was not effective immediately. The United States Navy, the finest in the world, will begin the process of blockading any and all ships trying to enter or leave
I don't think
the
we can
Strait
have
of
another
Hormuz.
North
At
Korea.
some point, we will reach an all being allowed to go in, all being allowed to go out basis. But Iran has not allowed that to happen by merely saying there may be a mine out there somewhere that nobody knows about but them. This is world extortion, and leaders of countries, especially the United States of America, will never be extorted. I have also instructed our Navy to seek and interdict every vessel in international waters that has paid a toll to Iran. No one who pays an illegal toll will have safe passage on the high seas. We will also begin destroying the mines the Iranians laid in the straits. Any Iranian who fires at us or at peaceful vessels will be blown to hell. Iran knows better than anyone how to end this situation, which has already devastated their country. Their navy's gone, their air force is gone, their anti-aircraft and radar are useless. Khamenei and most of their leaders are dead, all because of their nuclear ambition. The blockade will begin shortly. Other countries will be involved with this blockade. Iran will not be allowed to profit off this illegal act of extortion. They want money, and more importantly, they want nuclear. Additionally, and at an appropriate moment, we are fully locked and loaded, and our military will finish up the little that is left of Iran. President Donald J. Trump. The president also calling into Sunday Morning Futures with Maria Bartiromo this morning, explaining more about what happened inside that negotiating room in Pakistan. Reportedly, the Vice President, Steve Witkoff, and Jared Kushner called President Trump 21 times during the 20 hours of negotiations. President Trump saying he told them at the end, he said, to walk. I told my people we want everything, not 90%, not 95%. We want it all. They have no cards. Watch.
Think of it. They're allowed to say death to America, death to this, death to... And I make one statement, they say, oh, such a big deal. Let me tell you, that statement got them to the bargaining table, and they haven't left. They haven't left the bargaining table. I predict they come back and they give us everything we want. And I told my people, I want everything.
He threatened
I don't
them
want
with the
90%,
extinction of the
95%.
nation. And they were just
I
like,
told
okay,
them, I
okay,
want
fine, we'll
everything.
talk.
Well, and what they
have
want.
no cards, Maria.
And then they came to the
They have
table
no
and
cards.
they're still
Their Navy
asking
is
for
gone.
stuff.
Their Air Force is gone, totally gone. They have nothing. They have no ships. 158 ships are at the bottom of the sea. Good ones, new. The Soleimani, they had one called the Soleimani, was taken out by one of our Tiger sharks, by one of our rapidly moving submarines. It's amazing. Our military is so good. Do you know our military is a 94% approval rating now? Well, Congress has a 14%. The media has a 12%. When I started, the media had a 92% approval rating. Now they're down to 14%. Wow. And I'm very proud of it because they're very dishonest.
That may be true, but the Islamic Republic of Iran thinks they have at least one card. They currently believe at the moment they still control the Strait of Hormuz. The problem, though, with that is they don't really control it. They have this very thin thread of control. They're effectively controlling it by saying we can't locate the one mine or mines that we dropped in the main channel of the strait. Therefore, the only safe passage is to route your ships this way through our channel between mainland Iran and our island, in which case we can then stop your tankers and demand a $2 million toll. They are able to do that only because these tankers think it's possible that they may bunk into one of these mines somewhere in the strait, and it's not worth the risk. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that fear, that risk
they're basically
stops now.
holding
The U.S.
the
Navy
Strait of Hormuz
already
hostage
beginning
with,
to sweep the Strait of
some
Hormuz,
mines.
the main channel, the international
Underwater
waterway
mines.
channel. You can see it here. This, by the way, wasn't just stated by President Trump, but also by U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, confirming that 2 U.S. missile destroyers have begun clearing mines in the Strait of Hormuz yesterday. Announcing this in the middle of these peace talks, Admiral Cooper of CENTCOM saying, "Today we began the process of establishing a new passage, and we will share this safe pathway with the maritime industry soon to encourage the free flow of commerce." In this effort, 2 American ships participated in this mission, including the USS Frankie Peterson and the USS Michael Murphy. CENTCOM making clear this mission is part of a broader goal to make that crucial waterway, the Strait of Hormuz, clear of any sea mines laid by Iran's IRGC. We've also been able to see clear photos of what appears to be the USS Michael Murphy as it sailed inside the strait yesterday. Trey Yingst from Fox, citing regional sources he spoke to inside Pakistan, who explained to him that they believe, the Pakistanis believe, Iran made a major mistake by thinking J.D. Vance would fold during these negotiations, that Iran was caught off guard by the vice president, by Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, when they came back to the room and just said no deal.
J.D. Vance had, right, a lot of people, right, like J.D. Vance said they didn't want to
ordering a complete blockade
go on with
of
their
the Strait of
war,
Hormuz.
but
Iran's learning.
I mean, they
Clearly,
have to follow
this is
the
not
president
the Obama
in his
administration that they're dealing with.
So they're doing what
we
they
don't know
can
many of the details
to
out of the negotiations yesterday.
right,
It's all very fresh.
make
But I
a-
can tell you that
make a
regional
peace
sources
deal,
say
but
the
yeah, it's not
Iranians
going
made
too
a
well.
major mistake at the negotiating table.
Yeah,
they believed that the United States
Yeah, even
would
yesterday
fold.
you saw J.D.
And
Vance's
obviously,
face.
the Trump administration went in with
He didn't
very
look
clear
happy at all.
objectives, and the Iranians were unwilling to meet those objectives, namely their nuclear program and getting rid of that enriched uranium. This is a key component to build a nuclear bomb, and regional sources and sources in the U.S. have been very clear.
That's why they
if you
called
allow
it-
Iran to
called
keep
Trump
the enriched
21
uranium and the
fucking
facilities that
times.
allow them to create
Because
enriched
they
uranium,
probably have to
they will
ask.
continue
They
to
probably
try
have to
and
ask
create
Trump
a nuclear bomb,
about
and
certain
everything would go
things, and
back
they're
to
like,
square
yeah,
one. And so that's
this is
exactly what the
Trump wants.
president is trying to avoid
Make it
here.
happen.
He gave the Iranians a chance at the negotiating table to make a good faith deal and get rid of that enriched uranium and open the Strait of Hormuz as they are supposed to do as it relates to international law, and they've been unwilling to do both of those things. And that is why at this very moment the region is once again on the brink of military conflict, because Iran is unwilling to make a fair diplomatic deal.
Now, one point of concern about blockading the strait, something the United States could have done from day one but chose not to, primarily due to China. China sources 50% of their oil from the strait. Cutting them off like that, cutting them off from their primary source of energy, that's no joking matter. Wars have been started for much less than that. Clearly, at this point, President Trump believes the United States is in the right at this point, that Iran is violating international law by tolling an international waterway, and this blockade must be done to uphold international law. Trump addressing this today, saying as far as China is concerned, China can send their tankers to us. China can send them to Venezuela. We told them, buy from Venezuela. How things have changed. Roll the tape.
As far as China is concerned, China can send their ships to us. China can send their ships to Venezuela. We told them, buy from Venezuela. We have a lot of overcapacity. We'd sell them, and we'll probably sell it for even less money. I have a very good relationship with President Xi of China, and we work together very well. They're paying us substantial money, as you know.
May
We
14th
never got money
to
before.
15th.
You know, I listened to this Gordon Chang.
going
He has
to
no idea what he's
Beijing
talking
to
about.
Xi.
We have been very tough on China. Tough but fair. And, you know, it's an amazing place. But I have a very good relationship with China, and they've been doing I put tremendous tariffs. I put 100% tariff on all Chinese cars coming in, and that's destroying Europe. They're destroying Europe because they're taking away so much business from Mercedes and BMW, etc. And we don't have any Chinese cars in our country because they would have destroyed General Motors, Ford. They would have destroyed these companies if they did it. So I put 100% tariff on, and in all fairness to Biden, he allowed it to stay on, which is shocking to me. It's one of the things.
This is shaping up to be just what Trump said on Friday, the largest global reset in history, and it really could be. This Iran conflict has forced Asia, Europe to abandon the Middle East, at least temporarily, and now come to fully rely on our hemisphere, the US, Canada, and Venezuela. Can you say 4D chess? Alright, that wraps up the news portion of this video. Now let me tell you about the sponsor for today, North American Niobium and Critical Minerals Corp, ticker NIOMF. North American Niobium explores in the same region as North Americans
that's
without
if you want to
mines
invest in
on
this
U.S.
company.
soil. There's only one in
Active
Canada.
mine.
North Metals is
people
national
are
industry
investing
at
in
20 minerals in North Opportunity is in the complete China. There is the Earths, jet engines, hypersonic missiles, and the magnetic ones, drones, AI servers, process not run AI, supply chain critical opportunities because China owns domestic production, 94% of refining and magnet production, zero U.S. domestic production at scale. North American Niobium and Critical Minerals Corp focus now rare earth media energies and the semiconductors pursue.
He's just doing his
So look, info about the to conduct your own due diligence on North American Niobium. I'm only providing some of the info about the company, the market, my take on the current geopolitical strategy.
Alright, that was RJ
That wraps
Talks.
up this episode.
If you want to take a look at more of his stuff. Alright, I guess let's look at the Minnesota fraud first. Minnesota fraud suspect skips court, forfeits bond, throwing 11 mil Medicaid case into doubt. A man accused of orchestrating an 11 million Medicaid fraud scheme in Minnesota skipped a scheduled court appearance this week, prompting a warrant for his arrest, authorities said. Abdir Rashid, I don't know, is male. Said 50, Saeed, 50 failed to appear for a pretrial hearing in Hennepin County, forfeiting his bond, according to Fox 9, citing the Minnesota Attorney General's office. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison said in a statement that his office is working with federal authorities to locate Saeed. Well, you didn't do a good job, you fucking dumbass. You fucking already fled, man. Right? You gave him a day and he right? Fled in a day, right? He already fled. A warrant has been issued for Saeed's arrest after he failed to appear for a pretrial hearing, Ellison told the outlet. My Medicaid Fraud Control Unit is working with federal law enforcement to locate Saeed and ensure he faces justice for the fraud he committed. I don't know about that. It seems like you let him off the hook. Really. This is a deeply frustrating setback. However, I remain committed to doing everything I can to hold Saeed and other Medicaid fraudsters accountable. That's a lot. Saeed posted a $150,000 unconditional bond to avoid stricter conditions, including surrendering his passport, while a $50,000 conditional bond would have required it. According to Fox 9, investigators also raised concerns about Saeed's potential to flee, citing family ties abroad. Prosecutors charged Saeed with racketeering and multiple counts of aiding and abetting theft by swindle in an alleged scheme that defrauded Minnesota's Medicaid program of nearly $11 million, according to a criminal complaint. The complaint alleges Saeed carried out the scheme from 2019 through 2023 by secretly operating multiple Medicaid-funded home health care agencies despite being barred from working with such programs after a prior fraud conviction. Wow, so he's already right. He already has a rap sheet, and you allowed him to stay in the country and to keep doing his fraud. Nice job there. Authorities said Saeed and his co-conspirators billed Medicaid for services that were never provided, weren't properly recorded, or were backed by fake paperwork. Investigators also allege the group billed for services that weren't eligible for payment and charged more than they should have, according to court documents. The scheme involved millions of dollars in fraudulent billing, including more than $4.6 million paid to one agency based on falsified documentation. Investigators also found nearly $1 million was billed. Oh, basically this is a non-violent crime too. Right, because he's just scheming and stealing money. Investigators also found nearly $1 million was billed for clients who denied receiving services, along with more than $300,000 in overbilling and more than $5.8 million in claims that were not documented or were fraudulently documented. Court records show Saeed was convicted of Medicaid fraud in 2022, ordered to pay $77,000, and barred from working with any Medicaid-funded agency. A restriction prosecutors allege he later violated. The case has raised new concerns about oversight of taxpayer-funded programs, as state leaders including Gov. Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison have faced mounting criticism over their handling of fraud in Minnesota. The development comes amid broader concerns over fraud in Minnesota, including the sprawling Feeding Our Future case, in which prosecutors allege defendants created fake meal programs and fraudulently claimed more than $250 million in federal funds. Former acting U.S. Attorney Joe Thompson has suggested fraud across some programs could total billions of dollars, potentially reaching $9 billion. State officials have faced ongoing questions about oversight of taxpayer-funded programs, with critics pointing to the additional fraud cases involving Medicaid and welfare spending. Ellison, whose office has prosecuted multiple fraud cases, appeared before Congress earlier this year to address concerns about enforcement and oversight. Yeah, and he didn't do a very good job when they fucking pulled him in to talk about it. A fucking idiot. Lying teen reinvented himself as an oligarch's son and ended up dead in front of Intelligence HQ. Uh-oh. Worry turned to fear, then panic. Their teenage son was missing. Matthew and Rachel Bretler, a cultured and comfortable Jewish couple living in a respectable London district, watched in confusion as the youngest of their two sons, Zach, changed. At 19 years old, he was dressing and behaving so unlike the intelligent, entertaining, and sociable kid they adored. He had become bratty, a show-off obsessed with imitating an Instagram-polished luxury lifestyle. Eesh, yikes. See, this is what happens when you look at fucking social media too much. His idols had morphed from sports stars to Vladimir Putin and Wolf of Wall Street crook Jordan Belfort. His outbursts had turned violent, and his new friends were nothing like his family. Flashy, foreign, and inexplicably rich. Still, in the days leading up to his disappearance, Zach was hopeful and ambitious, eagerly anticipating a bright future as an entrepreneur. He was planning to take the exam for his driver's license. He seemed anything but depressed. But the Bretlers and the Metropolitan Police were too late for Zach. At 2:24 a.m. on November 29th, 2019, he plummeted to his death from a 5th floor balcony. Ooh. Yeesh. That's a doozy. Of a luxury London apartment tower on the Thames. The balcony looked directly across the river at MI6 headquarters, which captured grainy footage of the fall on a surveillance camera. Oh, fuck. Us. As the new book, London Falling, a mysterious death in a gilded city and a family's search for truth. Penguin by Patrick Radden Keefe suggests to the police it was just another suicide. One of the thousands the city suffers each year. To the Brettlers, it looked like something far more sinister and strange it was. In the days before his death, as they desperately hunted for their son across London, the Brettlers discovered the truth about Zach. He was living a dangerous lie. At some point, Zach Brettler had stopped being an upper-middle-class Jewish kid, the grandson of a famous rabbi, from the affluent neighborhood of Maidavale, and transformed into Zach Ismailov. What? Zach Ismailov? That's supposed to be Russian? The alleged prodigal son of a... Oh, yeah, there you go. Son of a Russian, possibly Kazakh, oligarch and a Swiss model. He pretended to live at 1 Hyde Park in Knightsbridge, London's most expensive apartment building. Wait, how the fuck did he get the funds for that? He boasted about his family multi-billion-pound fortune, a largesse that he would inherit and share with his 5 jet-setting siblings. He spoke in a Russian-inflected... Jesus. He even went for the Russian accent. But he wasn't really Russian. With enough fluency to trick even native-born Russians. He used a .ru email address and wore a Montclair vest, as if equally as comfortable on the slopes as in the boardroom. He spoke like a jaded rich kid already wary with his portfolio of properties, his collection of watches and cars, and the tinkling of champagne glasses at Annabelle's in Mayfair. Zach's new, much older associates weren't rubber magnets and international traders as he had claimed to his bewildered parents. They were unscrupulous businessmen, well connected with the henchmen of real oligarchs, hardened criminals, drug dealers, and murderers. Zach had secretly moved in with a gangster known as Indian Dave, at the behest of his new mentor, Akbar Shamji? Above. He was working with a crypto bro. A crypto investor with a long family history of dirty deals. Oh, so he's one of those scamming crypto bros. What's this? Zach jumped from a balcony in the London building where Virender Indian Dave Sharma lived, a notorious gangster. Sharma had a reputation for collecting debts by damaging his victims over the edge of a balcony. Sharma died from a drug overdose in a manner very similar to how Russians would kill someone, a criminal compatriot said, on the 1 anniversary of Zach's death. Riverwalk, the apartment tower on Thames where Zach spent his final hours, was the home of Virender Sharma, a notorious gangster who went by the underworld sobriquet Indian Dave, and had a reputation for collecting debts by dangling his victims over the edge of a balcony. Zach had moved in with him at the behest of his new mentor, Akbar Shamji, a crypto investor with a long family history of dirty deals. Somehow a teenage boy had convinced these well-connected and worldly adults that he was the real thing. The accompanied son of a billionaire until they realized he wasn't. He wanted money and power fast, Rachel said at the inquest into son's death. Had it cost him his life? Author Keefe expands on his 2024 New Yorker piece, delving deep into the incredible circumstances surrounding Zach's death and the suspiciously inept police investigation that followed. But instead of zooming in on the con artistry of yet another charismatic imposter, Anna Delvey, Sorokin, or Simon Leviev, the Tinder swindler, or even Frank Abagnale of Catch Me If You Can, he uses a wide-angle lens. London Falling is a story about the material circumstances that create a kid like Zach. Part Walter Mitty, part Tom Ripley, from the financial heights of London and the unsavory foreign actors its generous tax policies attracted, to the criminals that both service and prey on the rich. Zach swam in the city and culture his parents hardly recognized. In the years leading to his death, more than a dozen powerful Russians were brazenly assassinated on British soil, with exotic toxins and even radioactive poisons. Remember that dart frog poisoning that someone somehow got on their fucking hands? Yeah, that's a little suspicious. Some were even found at the bottoms of buildings. In many cases, these deaths were ruled suicides. Britain had become so reliant on the largest of Russia's oligarchs that decisions had been made at a high level not to prosecute London's new mafia class, and to instead extend to them the courtesy of being able to kill their enemies in England with impunity. Keefe writes, was Zach another victim of that look the other way policy? Grieving for almost 2 years with no breakthroughs, the Brettlers decided that the police had given up on Zach's case after all the surveillance video showed that he was alone on the balcony when he jumped. But the more they studied the scene, the more the Brettlers were convinced that Zach hadn't jumped to end it all, but to escape to live. The autopsy suggested that Zach's jaw may have been broken before the jump. Perhaps he was aiming for a wet landing in the Thames and misjudged the distance. But now the most obvious suspect, Indian Dave, was also gone. He died from a drug overdose in a manner very similar to how Russians would kill someone. A criminal compatriot said on the 1-year anniversary of Zach's death. Karma had caught up to him, but he took his secret to the grave. Indian Dave's death satisfied the police that their job was done. Shamji, the only man who still knew the truth about their son's death, was never charged and seemed to be thriving as the head of a new company. One reason that is so difficult to know precisely what happened to River Walk is that Zach was by no means the only imposter in the apartment that night. Keefe writes, Virender Sharma was a leg breaker posing as a benevolent mentor. Akbar Shamji was a dilettante posing as an accomplished entrepreneur, and Zach was just a London teenager posing as the son of an oligarch. Each was pretending to be something he wasn't. Each was caught up in the glitzy, mercenary, aspirational culture of modern London. It was 3 bullshit artists selling air. Then. Like Serial. And other true crime stories. London Falling leaves many questions unanswered. What was Zach's endgame with Shamji and Sharma? Had these men really bought Zach's story? If not, what did they want with him? Was Zach having sex with these men? What the fuck? Why did I bring that up? Huh? Was Sharma murdered? Was Sharma a police informant, and was the investigation botched to protect him? Those dangling questions may irk the leader, but they also connect us with the confusion, pain, disillusionment, and anger experienced by Zach's parents. I literally had a stomachache for months after he died, Rachel says, because you're having to digest grief. Keith comes closest to giving us closure towards the end of his investigation by contextualizing a key piece of evidence. A text message Shamji sent from the apartment from Zach's death, a clue that the police maddeningly refused to pursue. I am not effing playing, Shamji wrote to his drug dealer. I've just been heating up knives and clearing up blood. Zach's final Google search typed less than half an hour before he jumped was what to do with skin burns. In 2025, a year after the New Yorker article was published, an underworld associate of Indian Dave reached out to Keith to spell things out. Dave's favorite thing was warming up the knife, the gangster said, to inflict pain on a person who owes you money. He said, you heat up the blade of a knife so that it will just melt into him. The act is so theoretical and frightening, he said, the most of the time you don't even need to cut anybody. You put it on the stove, he said, you toss it, and you turn it. You make him see, then you walk towards him with it. Scares you, doesn't it? This is what Indian Dave's go-to method, so basically a torture method. Faced with that, who wouldn't chance to jump into the things? Go. Looks like there's the criminal underbelly of London. John Cleese blasts world silence on Easter massacre of Nigerian Christians by Islamist terrorists. Monty Python actor John Cleese warned this week that the world has failed to live up to the ideal of saying Black Lives Matter when it ignores anti-Christian terrorism in Nigeria. Well, I mean, I hate to tell you, man, but the whole Black Lives Matter it's more of an American thing, right? Made from those fucking scammers. Numerous news sources around the world, including the Associated Press, reported that, according to local military and officials, at least 26 people were killed in 3 separate Easter attacks in northern Nigeria. This has caused multiple prominent commentators to not only criticize the terrorism rife in the region, but the silence of the international community that they argue is politically motivated. It looks rather as though Black lives don't matter, Cleese lamented on Tuesday, adding what appears to be a sarcastic critique of liberal media by writing. Yeah, obviously. Also, writing about it would damage the image of the murderers who killed these poor people. Cleese had been responding to the post from the chair of the DOJ Task Force to Combat Anti-Semitism and senior counsel at the Justice Department, Leo Terrell, who had asked, why isn't the world talking about the massacre of Christians by Islamist terrorists? While Cleese is very much a liberal himself, condemning President Trump and his allies frequently, he has been on an ongoing multi-week campaign blasting how liberalism has turned a blind eye toward radical Islam. He had recently made headlines for condemning a mass Muslim prayer that occurred in Trafalgar Square, a British military memorial. These gatherings follow a growing trend of mass Islamic prayers of up to thousands of people in iconic Western landmarks. While these are often organized with government permission, critics like Cleese argue these displays represent a cultural gesture of domination, occupying highly symbolic public spaces in a spaces to signal a shift in national identity. Cleese also made waves by tweeting, "The UK has always been based on the deepest level of on Christian values, regardless of dogma. Despite the many mistakes made by churches for centuries, British people have been influenced by Christ's teaching. If these values are replaced by Islamic ones, this will not be a Britain anymore." John Cleese is one of many British public icons who were once liberal darlings but have since spoken out against far-left dogma, similar to how Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling has since waged a long-term campaign against transgender ideology. Another prominent example includes atheist commentator Richard Dawkins, author of The God Delusion, who has argued that Christianity is something of a bulwark of European civilization and has identified himself as a cultural Christian. Fez's fate in Euphoria Season 3 revealed after Angus Cloud's tragic death. Oh shit, one of the stars died? Oh, he overdosed in 2023. Fuck. Man, he was actually living the life of Euphoria. There you go. Euphoria is about is a TV show based on like drug addiction and the craziness people get into when they get addicted to drugs and they do crazy shit to get more drugs. And there. Inside the exploitative, cynical, money-fueled world of mommy influencers. Mommy influencers are shameless, exploiting their kids' most private, distressing moments for online content. Author Fortessa Latifi's new book reveals sick or sad children's content often earns parents the most money. Past scandals like the Stauffer family's adoption reversal highlight the ethical minefield of child exploitation. Something's off with our son. Something's off with our son. Jamie Otis cried while holding her limp, dazed 2-year-old Hendrix and calling to her husband Doug for help. He's gonna seize, I think. Call 911. It was 2022 and Hendrix had a febrile seizure, frightening convulsions triggered by fever in young children. Otis, a reality TV regular turned influencer, was frantic, wondering if they should drive the 27 miles to the hospital or call an ambulance. It was terrifying, and Otis's 1 million Instagram followers saw every second of it. This was just moments before my baby became unresponsive, stopped breathing, and his lips turned blue. He wrote in the caption on her posted video. Wow, I'm surprised they didn't take the video down. Man, and showed that all on the fucking where was she posting it? They just said social media, right? They don't say where she was posting it. For some mommy influencers, everything is content, no matter if their children are ill, embarrassed, or potentially exploited. The fact that Fortessa Latifi, author of the new book Like, Follow, Subscribe, Influencer Kids and the Cost of a Childhood Online, takes issue with. The child was obviously in extreme distress, she told the Post of Otis's son. Not only did they film it, but they uploaded it. And then not only did they upload it, but they pinned it to her profile. And I think just as a parent myself, it's really difficult for me to understand, she added. It's just things that I don't think should be for public consumption. Otis, however, disagrees. A nurse, she told the Post she initially recorded the seizure to show her child's doctor, a common practice, and posted it to educate and inform other parents. She said it hasn't been a post that's performed particularly well, but that she's kept it pinned to help people. Latifi notes that unwell children do typically perform well online. Several parent influencers told me that the content that does best for their kids is when their child is sick or sad or injured, told the Post. Julie Jepson, a single Mormon mom of 8 who has a YouTube channel, The Big Family Jewels, with 214 followers, say in the book that The videos that got the most eyes on them are the ones that had the bloody noses or the broken arms, or the emergency room visit or whatever, and a large following and popular posts reap big rewards. The amount of money in the mom, influencer, and family vlogging world is almost unbelievable, Latifi writes, noting that the creator economy as a whole is expected to reach 500 trillion by 2027. YouTube creators with 10 million subscribers can rake in 8 million a year between ads and sponsored content. Those with just 500,000 subscribers might make 6,000 a month from ad revenue, plus additional revenue from sponsors. It's money that can change lives and even lift some out of poverty. And Latifi is somewhat sympathetic to her subject. With so few career choices that are compatible with the demands of pregnancy and motherhood, is it any wonder that influencing and vlogging becomes so attractive, she wrote. But the path can be irksome, or much worse for children. Mormon mommy blogger Shannon Bird tells Latifi of bribing her kids with a visit to Disneyland to get them to do sponsored posts. Oh fuck. I'm like, you guys can this for me? I literally spend 60 hours a week driving you to sports. You guys can do one photo shoot, Bird says in the book. This is how we're paying for your college. Bird says she deleted her blog because some of its content led to one of her kids being bullied, but she still has an Instagram profile. She tells Latifi that she recently had second thoughts about doing a sponsored post for melatonin gummies, fearful that it would seem as though she were drugging her kids. Well, I mean, humans already make melatonin themselves. That's not an issue. Yeah, I mean, melatonin gummies is basically like a vitamin. But she went ahead with the melatonin post, as the 12,500 it paid was exactly what she needed to fund her boob job. Wait, oh god. So instead of trying to help your kids, you instead got yourself a boob lift. Okay, weird. Of course, all the mean comments came in. Says Bird, who typically makes 3,000 to 5,000 a month on Instagram, but has garnered as much as 19,000 a month. But I'm like, free boobs, free boobs. The post has reached out to Bird for comment. Like posts with sick kids, those involving dead pets can also do quite well. Man, this shit. Yeah, a lot of people like to look at fucked up things. In 2021, YouTube star Jordan Shanae drew outrage when she accidentally posted a video where she coached her 8-year-old son to cry after learning that their puppy was seriously ill and could die. What the fuck? Act like you're crying, she told the boy, who screamed, "Mom, I'm actually seriously crying." Jesus. A teen named Rachel tells Latifi that her vlogger mom has no shame about filming any family moment, even shooting the funeral they had when a beloved bird died. I was crying and all she did was shove a camera into everyone's face and wave in front of the camera in a chipper voice saying bye-bye, the girl said. Yeah, some of these moms are fucking deranged. Fucking wine mom. It's all good, Rachel tells Latifi. It's life, well, it's my life. For the eldest daughter of Aubrey Jones, a mom with 1.1 million Instagram followers, life included cringe-worthy sponsored posts, with Jones assembling menstruation products for the girl's first period. Latifi notes that Jones is hardly the only one doing such posts. In the world of mom influencers and family vloggers, anything can be made into sponsored content. First menstrual cycles, medical diagnoses, potty training routines, she writes. Nothing is too personal, the post has reached out to Jones for comment. Some families are even making major lifestyle choices to stay on the influencer gravy train. Bridie Hamilton, an academic who wrote a thesis on the ethics of parenting and influencing, has noted that homeschool and frequent relocation seem to be common amongst influencers and vloggers. No formal school means more time to create content. Latifi also notes that conservative families are more likely to homeschool. And there are also a segment that tends to be popular in the world of family vlogging and influencing. There are also practical matters. It is much easier to have your children stay home and homeschool so they don't have to be constantly pulling them out of school for brand trips. What the fuck? That's weird. So you're taking away your kids' education so they can be a fucking content brain retard. Good job there, fucking idiot. Or for the work that they have to do, he said. I mean, you can finish homeschooling in a few hours and then you can turn to content, you know, as opposed to going to school for 8 hours a day. I mean, you're not wrong. Going to school for 8 hours a day is fucking annoying. That's so fucking dumb. For influencers, kids who do attend traditional school, there can be some awkward moments. Latifi writes of Alessi Lewandijk, age 5, and the daughter of one-time Bachelor star Ari Lewandijk, and his wife Lauren Lewandijk. The parents began posting about Alessi when she was in the womb. By the time Alessi started preschool, she was regularly recognized in public. On a podcast, the couple recalled an awkward moment at school drop-off, with the dad saying, "Oh my god, is that Alessi? Is that Alessi?" The mom's chattering about the little kid. Large families can also be more conducive to social media stardom. I hate to say this, but over the years I've known people who have had more children because those brand deals are very lucrative. Larissa Lasky, a former influencer who now manages social media stars, says in the book. Having a 4th or 5th kid can really pay off, as there's so much money in the baby world. In 2017, Ohio family vlogger Micah and James Stauffer added to their brood, which included 4 biological children at a time, by adopting a 2-year-old boy with special needs, Huxley, from China. They featured him prominently in their content, but then in 2020 announced that they were dissolving the adoption and placing Huxley in a new home as they were unable to meet his medical needs. The move drew fervent backlash and was the subject of an HBO documentary. Another major kitty influencer scandal involved Ren Eleanor, a toddler whose TikTok account had some 17 million followers. In 2022, controversy erupted when critics asserted that Ren's mother, Jacqueline, was posting content like the then 3-year-old eating a large hot dog or playing with a tampon that was sexually suggestive and exploitative. Wait. The firestorm led many parents to remove their kids from social media, and Ren's videos are no longer on social media. But of course, many others have kept their kids online. Andrew Garza, whose 9-year-old twins, Haven and Cody, have 5.3 million followers on TikTok, tells Latifi that she tries not to think about sexual predators watching her daughter's content, and notes that there are sickos both on and offline. I do my best to always keep them safe and protected, Garza says, and there's only so much we can control in this world. Well, why did you put your children on the fucking internet like that when you know there's a lot of fucking deranged people? Latifi notes that just a handful of states have regulations around family vlogging and influencing. In 2023, Illinois was the first state to pass a law saying that children were entitled to a percentage of the earnings from their appearing online. But Shari Frank, whose mother Ruby Frank was a phenomenally popular vlogger, later convicted of child abuse, has said it's not about the money. Pedophiles, stalk the internet, correct? Specifically seeking out child influencers, she said in a public statement issued at Utah considered its own protections for kids. Parents are aware of these predators and choose to post their children anyway. If I could go back and do it all again, I'd rather have an empty bank account and not have my childhood plastered all over the internet. What time is it? Already 11? Maybe I should take a break real quick. Cause I've been streaming for 2 hours and haven't taken a restroom break. Alright, let me be right back. Alright, starving tote ate diapers drywall to survive before dying of neglect, while parents had nice tidy rooms, cops. Oof. A starving Indiana toddler desperately ate diapers and drywall before dying of horrific neglect, as his parents waited more than 14 hours. Jesus Christ. To call the cops. The emaciated, sore, riddled 2-year-old boy, Eric Richard, was found dead by Tell City cops inside his home after his father, Trevor Richard Hayes, 39, finally called dispatcher March 31st to report the tote was blue in color and not breathing after his wife, Catherine Carter, 31, found their child unresponsive, according to police. A couple told cops the last time they'd seen their son alive was around 11 p.m. the day before, which was more than 14 hours before anyone dialed 911. Well, isn't that really fucking bad, huh? Arriving officers immediately started performing CPR on the tragic toddler on the living room floor of the home, but Eric was pronounced dead at the scene by police just minutes later. Well, I mean, it's been... Right, given how much time has elapsed, I mean... That's real fucking bad, man. The child was blue and pale, a detective wrote in the probable cause affidavit against his parents, who have now been charged with murder over the boy's death. According to People, I could tell, based on my training and experience, that the child had been deceased for several hours. Oh, well, there you go. Officer said, yeah, so resuscitation is... You're not going to resuscitate someone who's already been deceased for like 7 hours. That's just not going to happen. Cops noted that the family, which included 2 other children, was living in deplorable conditions. They found feces on the floor in the 2 children's rooms, as well as an abundance of drywall and paint chips on the floors. Dirt pieces of diapers lying everywhere, a training toilet full of feces and urine that appeared not to have been cleaned in weeks, and an infestation of insects and bugs, according to the outlet. Oh man, condemn the fucking home, man. That's gross. The twisted couple's own bedroom told an entirely different story, with it filled with nice, clean sheets on a neatly made bed surrounded by almost zero mess and no clutter. In stark contrast to the squalor their children were forced to live in, authorities said. So child abuse, basically. Child abuse and probably torture at this point. At the time of his death, Eric weighed just 15 pounds, roughly half of what a child his age should weigh, and his body was covered in more than 40 sores and bug bites, according to police. The boy's mother told police her son had been eating his own diapers, which cops suspected he had done out of pure desperation from being starved. Pretty much. An autopsy confirmed Eric had confirmed the drywall chips and diaper pieces scattered throughout his room, with his colon containing a foreign gel-like substance. Fuck. And small white pieces consistent with diaper material, drywall, paint chips, and even spackling from the home. Fucking Christ. Yeah, put these people, fucking hang these people. Holy shit. His cause of death was determined to be severe malnutrition and dehydration as a result of neglect. The couple's 2 other children that were also found in the home were removed by the Indiana Department of Child Services. One was hospitalized for severe malnutrition and dehydration. Holy shit, they were gonna kill another kid too by doing this shit. Richard Hayes and Carter were arrested April 3rd and charged with murder and multiple counts of various types of neglect that led to the boy's death. Carter is due back in court May 14th, while Richard Hayes has a hearing scheduled for May 20th. There you go. See, this is why some people cannot be parents. They do that kind of shit. It's like, holy. Spencer Pratt rages after shootout at massive street takeover. Spencer Pratt has raged against the menace of Los Angeles street takeovers after 4 were shot during a raucous meet early Sunday. A large crowd can be seen watching people hang out of their car windows in Rosemead, spinning the vehicles out of control, followed by trails of smoke. Oh yeah, this is in California, by the way. Streamer Adrian, also known as Sweater GXD, filmed the chaotic moment. Shots broke out as people ran for cover. You can literally hear it whiff right by his head. Oh shit. No, that's not good. Oh, is this the video? Oh yeah, did you see that guy? That guy had a gun. He has is that an AK? It looks like an AK. Yeah, they came close to fucking hitting the group. Holy shit.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, I heard your shot. Oh, there goes, more shots.
Yeah, no, I'm out. I'm going home.
Yep, more shots.
I'm going home.
Oh shit, more shots.
Get down. Go. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit.
I'm sorry, but the bushes aren't gonna save you.
What the fuck? Oh shit.
Yeah, just stay low and get behind a wall. Right, get the fuck out of there.
Please tell me you guys saw me. You saw that nigga cock his gun. Did someone get shot? Oh,
I'm surprised he's still around the scene. Oh yeah, it looks like there's some shit going on.
I'm getting out of here before the cops come. I ain't gonna lie.
Save him? I mean,
Dude,
save who?
Oh
you don't even know who the fuck
I
is
could
over
have sworn they
there.
were shooting my direction. Nigga, I thought I was dead. I was all the way in the back behind everybody. It's time to go, viejo. It's time to go home, viejo. See when it get late? Bro, we started running this way. Yeah. No, cause the bullet, yeah.
Oh, look at this. He's got a nice car. Did he rent it?
Nigga, I looked back and I see the nigga take out his gun, cock it, and start shooting. I'm like, yeah, nah. I'm good, Mud. Give me a...
Aiming that nigga, he was in the sky with it.
Huh?
He was at the sky with
No,
it.
he was aiming it at the crowd. I think someone got hit.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Yeah, we don't need... Pratt quickly came out slamming the event, vowing to wipe out such meats if he is elected mayor this year. He said this is a Rosemead. This is in Rosemead, but this happens in LA City all the time. When I'm mayor, every person in this video will be in an orange jumpsuit, filling potholes, picking up trash, and polishing LA sidewalks until they're clean enough for tax-paying Angelinos to eat off of them. I don't know about that. I don't know how good this person... Oh, wait. Spencer Pratt is that, he's that new up and, he's that guy running for, mayor. The one who's been, they've been trying to do smear campaigns on him. Los Angeles County deputies responded to a report of a takeover at the intersection of Del Mar and Garvey Avenues around 2 a.m. Sunday morning, according to NBC LA. 4 people were shot and hospitalized, including two teenagers and 2 men in their early 20s, outlet reported. So 4 people were shot and hospitalized. The victims, whose ages are 17, 19, 21, and 22, are reportedly in stable condition. The circumstances surrounding the shooting remain under investigation, the department said in a statement, according to KTLA. Detectives are actively working to identify those involved and determine the events that led up to the shooting. All the vehicles involved in the street takeover fled the scene before authorities arrived, and no arrests have been made, outlet reported. In recent months, there have been several street takeovers that have popped up across Los Angeles County. A Metro Rapid bus that was filled with passengers got struck in the middle of the street takeover back in March, according to KTLA. Also in March, about 50 people riding e-bikes, pocket bikes, and illegal electric motorcycles took over a street in Long Beach that resulted in 1 arrest. Go. Let's read this one. My 600-pound life starred Dolly Martinez, dead at age 30. Well, I bet you the cause of death was because she just kept eating and eating and didn't take care of herself, and then she slowly died. My 600-pound life star Dolly Martinez has died at the age of 30. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Martinez's sister, Lindsay Cooper, announced the sad news on Facebook on Saturday. Dolly had the brightest personality she could light up any room with. Her laughter, her kindness, and her loving spirit, Cooper wrote. She had a way of making everyone feel special, and her warmth will stay with us forever. While our hearts are broken here, I find comfort in knowing she is now reunited with our dad in heaven. I can only imagine the joy of that reunion, she continued. Rest peacefully, Dolly. You will always be loved, always be missed, and never forgotten. No cause of death was given, but Cooper shared that her sister was in the hospital fighting for her life a day prior. Martinez appeared on Season 10 of TLC's My 600-Pound Life, which documented her struggles with food addiction. She was on supplemental oxygen and also struggled with mental health issues. Martinez did not get approved for weight loss surgery at the end of the episode, but she did lose 40 pounds after weighing 593 pounds. My 600-pound life follows a year in the life morbidly obese individuals. Sadly, multiple people featured on this reality series have died. Well, Obviously. Back in June 2023, Larry Myers Jr. died 3 days after celebrating his 49th birthday. Myers Jr., who went viral for singing the Mr. Buttermilk Biscuits song at a chicken restaurant, passed away from a heart attack. Yep. I mean, as you get that big, yeah, you're gonna have fucking heart complications. Online groomers. One mom saved her teen from online groomers. Colorado mom Dana Grusser is still trying to piece together how her sweet son ended up on a locked ward screaming at her for being a Nazi and begging for his phone. Yeah, sighs Dana. It's a lot. At this point, it has been 2 years since the dark time, when her son Ari was 14 and starting high school. Dana says his friend group fell apart. He and his girlfriend broke up, and his parents separated too. Dana encouraged him to go outside, but he said no one else was out there. He started spending more time online. Dana wasn't too worried. She'd set up parental control, and yet he would later learn Ari got to the point where he was eluding all the safeguards and spending 12 to 14 hours online a day. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, they can. Yeah, I mean, you don't pay attention to your kid much, and well, that will happen. They break through your parental controls, and look at them, looking at shit they probably shouldn't be seeing. Online, he made new friends who urged him to do things like carve pentagrams and upside down crosses on his chest. Gee, fuck. Was he dealing with fucking psychos? What the fuck? He made new friends with psychos. Or fucking satanic motherfuckers. The FBI recently issued a warning about these violent online networks that work to establish trusting relationship with kids, especially ones with issues like depression or eating disorders. There is actually one online criminal organization that basically does this shit too. I forgot what their name was, because they gave themselves a name. I can maybe look that up later. The FBI recently issued a warning about these violent... Oh yeah, I read that, sorry. Once they gotten a kid to do something humiliating, say mutilating themselves on camera, they can threaten to show this to the kid's friends or families. Basically, blackmail. As for why the gangs do this, the FBI lists sexual gratification, criminal extortion, social status, and or the desire to sow chaos. The first few times Ari cut himself, he was so upset afterwards that he told his mom, but when Dana reported the cutting to his therapist, Dana says the response was, "So many kids are self-harming that we don't necessarily raise it to an emergency level unless they have a plan to commit suicide." What? That's insane. Right? Cutting your wrist is already a sign of just mental health issues. What are you doing? So her son kept cutting himself. Even after Dana locked up all the knives and scissors, he used the wire from a spiral notebook. His political rants were all over the map. One Saturday, as Dana drove Ari home, she asked him, "Where are you getting this information and why are you feeling this way?" Ari exploded. He screamed at his mom for persecuting him, called her a Nazi, and shoved his phone in her face to show her a video on TikTok. When they got home, Dana says, "I started Googling, is my son being radicalized online?" I mean, yeah, he is. I mean, you allow him to converse with some of these crazy people, yeah, he's gonna fucking do crazy shit. That Tuesday, Ari's sister showed Dana what she'd found hidden in Ari's clothes. A 6-inch hunting knife inscribed death. On Dana's insistence, he was admitted to a locked psychiatric ward where he stayed for 10 days. When he was convinced to divulge his phone password, I was able to get in and see stuff I had hoped never to see in my whole life, says Dana. Hundreds of pictures of self-harm, starting out with just a little cut to his arm, but eventually all over his head to toe cut up. When he got out of the hospital, he went into 6 weeks of intensive therapy and also back to school, a different one. With only a flip phone now, Ari had a lot of time to fill. He organized a band, learned sound engineering, and recorded a solo album. He also started taking jiu-jitsu, and then says Dana one day, he came home and said, "Mom, the best, coolest thing happened. I got a flat tire." What? You got a flat tire and that was cool? Dana asked. I got the flat tire and I was thinking, oh my god, what do I do? How am I going to get home? I'm really far away, Ari said. His first impulse was to call Dana, but when I wanted to figure it out on my own, so he did. He got himself to a bike shop where they fixed the tire gratis and sent him on his way. I figured it out on my own, Mom. I didn't have to call you for help. That was the turning point, a chance to prove himself in the real world. Dana believes her son was saved by 3 things, in addition to the hospitalization and therapy. Less time on tech, starting a band, fixing his bike without her help. There you go. Looks like he's doing alright now. Back when her son was first enticed into the world of gore, says Dana. I really think that if he just had a game of pickup baseball in the park, it might have been enough to keep him connected. Yeah, sports, right? Sports, a band, any extracurricular activity to basically, right, focus the kid's mind on, right, something, instead of focusing on trying to talk to weirdos online. Today's kids are not allowed to go across the street to get a Starbucks. They're not allowed to go anywhere or do anything, but they're allowed to be on social media for hours. Yeah, that's suspicious. That's not a good thing to do. Says Dana. It's time to flip that. We can encourage neighbors to let their kids play outside too without us hovering. We can ask our schools to ask our kids to do more things on their own too. The non-profit I helm, Let Grow, has a free independence building program for schools. Let 1,000 tires deflate. We can ask our kids to run errands and trust them to deal with snags along the way. Most kids will not end up radicalized online, thank God. But most kids will end up better off if we can give them back a real-world childhood. Well, there you go. The kid got the help he needed. Seems to be doing fine now. Alright, influencer husband threatens Eric Swallowell after he allegedly bombarded her with nudes and turned up at her house. Here we go. California gubernatorial candidate Eric Swallowell will find himself in more legal crosshairs if he or his team disparages one of his accusers of sexual misconduct her husband warned on Saturday night. Well, I mean, they might be, right, the victims might be suing, possibly, who knows? So you gotta be careful. Adam Parkhomenko, who is married to Ali Samarko, said on social media he wished the congressman's family well and hopes he gets the help he needs. But if Eric Swalwell or his attorneys make a single statement that disparages my wife, I will be filing a lawsuit against him, Parkhomenko went on. I've already made clear that if he believes anything I've said is untrue, he should sue me immediately. He warned Swalwell he should be very careful about what he chooses to say before calling on him to resign from Congress. Samarko is one of 4 women who on Friday made sexual misconduct allegations against the candidate whose political career was all but over after he pulled his campaign for governor late Sunday. In a report published by CNN, Samarko alleged that Swalwell had sent her inappropriate messages on Snapchat in 2021, including unsolicited nudes. Swalwell would also go for jogs in her neighborhood and ask her to come downstairs from her apartment to chat, she alleged. It made me feel gross and uncomfortable, she said, of the nudes. I didn't ask for that. Wait, what? She went to Iran on a propaganda trip? Now stay there. And yeah, because you like it over there so much. Other accusations made more serious claims, including alleged rape. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office in New York launched an investigation Saturday into the incident. Since Friday, Swalwell's campaign has imploded. Endorsements have been withdrawn and key staff members have quit. That same Friday, Swalwell posted a video adamantly denying the accusations, arguing, "They have never happened, and I will fight them with everything that I have." His lawyer, Elias Debay, also went on CNN to try to bat down the claim, saying there may be a conspiracy for the Democratic Party to get rid of Swalwell in order to consolidate Sorry, I'm getting a little tired. Democratic votes in the governor's race. That interview sparked criticism from opponents of Swalwell, including Parkhomenko, who argue that Swalwell should own up to his alleged actions. I think he did take accountability for some stuff, but yeah, he hasn't taken accountability for everything. Because, well, I don't know if the people are gonna sue, right? I can't even begin to tell you the secondhand embarrassment I had watching him on CNN last night. Oil giant gives Newsom the middle finger and offers rare peek inside California's gas lifeline. As Californians face soaring prices at the gas pump, the newly reopened Santa Ynez pipeline is now churning out 60,000 barrels of oil a day. Right now, they're doing offshore drilling. So they should be getting, alright, hopefully that'll cool down the gas prices, hopefully, maybe. During an exclusive visit to the newly reopened platforms, where oil is once again flowing through onshore pipelines in Santa Barbara, following a Trump executive order, the California Post sat down with the facility executive, who offered a pointed but measured response to the Democrat outcry at the decision, which is still facing legal action to shut it down again. We have a perfect, safe restart of the pipeline, Jay Caldwell Flores, president of the COO of Sable Offshore Corp, told the Post. Yeah, also, in this way, we don't have to rely on buying fucking oil off, right, from other countries, right? Because you started back up the pipeline. Now you can, right, give some of that oil back to the fucking state. So you can fucking lower the goddamn costs, you fucking retards. Goddamn eco-terrorist fucking faggots. Sorry, I hate these fucking people, man. If I could, I'd fucking put them on a goddamn boat or plane to fucking go fuck off somewhere else. We recognize we're providing a necessary service to California and the country as a whole. About 100 new jobs have already been created. Yeah, that too. Right? Them closing down all these operations, right? You fucking, right? You literally destroyed jobs by doing that. About 100 new jobs have already been created and additional 200 are expected once all 3 platforms are fully operational, according to Sable. It also projected to generate an estimated $5 million in annual tax revenue, which the state certainly needs. That is correct. Because the state is fucking broke, right? Why do you think they keep trying to ask Trump to give federal funding for certain projects and shit? All right. On board were 2 pilots. The helicopter tour was a brief 10-minute flight from the Las Flores Canyon onshore base to the Harmony platform. On board were 2 pilots, 6 passengers, and a post-journalist. The platform typically hosts about 35 crew members at a time on 2-week shifts. There are 3 platforms, Hondo, Harmony, and Heritage, all located in federal waters off the Santa Barbara coast. That's good. That'll reinvigorate the fucking industry finally. U.S. Rep. Well, hopefully they can keep it open and stop the Democrats and the fucking eco-terrorists from stopping it. U.S. Rep. Vince Fong, whose district includes some of the state's richest oil reserves, was also part of the tour. Sorry, not. I keep calling them eco-terrorists, but it's the fucking environmentalists. Those fucking faggots. Just the crazy ones. Fong was far more scathing in his critique of Gavin Newsom's oil policies and hailed the refinery as a critical step toward lowering fuel costs. See? Yeah. If you want to lower the fuel costs, you gotta start back operations of your own fucking fuel efficiency, maintaining and processing and, right? Refining. It's American oil on American soil. American made. Fong said as he watched the platforms in action. Sable's nearly 60,000 barrels per day may be small compared to U.S. consumption of about 20 million barrels. But it's significant for California, correct? The state's oil production has fallen about 75% since its peak in the 1980s. Yeah, basically we lost all of our self-sufficiency, and instead we're dependent on purchasing fucking goods and resources from other countries. The Santa Ynez pipeline restart marks a 15% increase in California's in-state oil production. Will replace almost 1.5 million barrels of foreign crude oil each month. There you go. According to the Department of Energy. Now you can save some money. We need more production. Look at California's energy crisis right now. It's because of bad policies, Fong said, taking aim at Newsom. Hey, he knows what's up. Gavin Newsom has restricted domestic supply of oil and gas. He's made California more dependent on foreign oil. Oh, look at that. He's imposed taxes and fees and mandates that make California gasoline more expensive. Well, yeah. California has the highest gas tax in the U.S. at 61.2 cents per gallon for the state excise tax. When including federal taxes, sales tax, and fees, the burden on California drivers is about 90 cents per gallon. Flores agreed, adding that the production from the refinery will fill a much-needed gap and ease prices. There will be some impact on that. Flores said it's not perfect to quantify beyond the fact that we will be responsible for 6 million cars worth of fuel each month. That's probably the best way to look at it. Go. Sable's infrastructure in Santa Barbara had been closed following the 2015 the oil spill. Yeah, that's why they closed it down. Yeah, there were some oil spills that happened because so some bad shit happened. 2015 Refugio beach oil spill caused by a rupture, heavily corroded pipeline that released over 120,000 gallons of crude oil. The operation was shuttered for over a decade due to environmental damage, legal injunctions, and failure to obtain necessary safety permits before recent attempting to resume operations under federal emergency order. In May 2025, oil from 6 platform Harmony wells began flowing to Las Flores Canyon for storage pending approval to restart the onshore pipeline. On March 13th, Trump issued an executive order directing use of the Defense Production Act to authorize Sable Offshore to resume operations in the Santa Barbara Channel, citing national security and energy supply concerns. On March 14th, hydrocarbon transport resumed from Las Flores Canyon to Pentland, and oil sales began on March 29th. California is really stuck on its own, and that's where we land in critical infrastructure from a national security standpoint, because there are about 50 air bases, naval bases, and army bases on the West Coast that are supplied directly by California domestic production. Oh, there you go. Being dependent on foreign imports that may not show up, as we've seen in the last month, is not a good national security posture at all. Yeah, correct. For every barrel produced, it's replacing a barrel of oil imported into California from a foreign country. Gavin Newsom has destroyed production in Southern California. In response, a spokesperson for Newsom offered, for the amount of money Congressman Fong accepts from the fossil fuel industry, it's surprising that he doesn't seem to understand basic. What the fuck are you talking about? If anything, you're wasting money by purchasing from fucking other countries. Like, what are you doing? Since oil trades at a worldwide price, American crude sells the biggest sells to the highest bidder, not at a discount for American consumers. The federal government also lauded Sable, saying it cares about Californians even if failed state leaders don't. PHMSA is doing its part to ensure this pipeline is operating safely, so Sable Offshore Corp can continue unleashing American energy and drive down prices at the pump. John Duffy, Secretary of Transportation, which oversees the pipeline and hazardous materials safety admin, told the Post. This is common sense. California is rich in energy resources, but nonsensical politicians keep them dependent on foreign oil. Phillips 66 and Valero are winding down operations in California. Yeah, basically, what was it, Valero that left California? Yeah, I think some of the other gas companies might leave too. Well, the Bakersfield Phillips 66 refinery closed in December 2025, and Venetia's of Valero facility is set to shut down end of this month. Yeah, there you go. Critics say Newsom's strict environmental rules, including a 2023 refinery price cap law, have accelerated closures and boosted reliance on imported oil. Gavin Newsom needs to look in the mirror when we talk about the energy crisis in California, Fong said. If he had any common sense, he would have allowed Sable to move forward without the executive order, without the use of the Defense Production Act. But because of his incompetence, President Trump had to intervene and take action. The governor has maintained that rising gas prices are due to Trump's war-related actions in Iran, which blocked the Strait of Hormuz, a key route. Okay, first of all, why is that so? Are you buying oil from Iran? Is that why, you fucking faggot? Why are you helping terrorist organization, you fucking asshole? I would love to hang Gavin Newsom. Which blocked the Strait of Hormuz, a key route for the world's oil supply. California was one of the worst hit states as a result. This is a Trump energy crisis, not a California one. Thanks to Donald Trump's ill-prepared war on Iran. Everybody thinks he didn't have a plan with the Iran war. It's just like, do you think he's really gonna divulge any of his information he gets when he goes when he talks to Pentagon officials or military officials? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Americans are paying a growing $10 billion more on gasoline since the beginning of the conflict, a spokesperson. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, these guys have been trying to raise taxes and prices for a while now, so I don't believe them. I do not believe them. Okay. Amazing otherworldly next step for Artemis program after successful flight to the moon. It'll be one quick step for man. NASA plans to land astronauts on the moon within 2 years. Oh shit, they want to do a moon landing now. 2 years after Artemis 2's successful return to Earth on Friday. The program's final test flight, Artemis 3, already scheduled for next year. Oh, there you go. They already scheduled another Artemis flight next year. Artemis 3 is expected to launch sometime in mid-2027, with the mission remaining in Earth's orbit and testing out flight and rendezvous procedures with new lunar landers being designed by Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin. Oh, so he's the one for Blue Origin. I was wondering about that. I've never heard of Blue Origin, and it's Jeff Bezos. And Elon Musk's SpaceX. I think I put in a fucking job application for Blue Origin. I mean, now that I think about it. I didn't know it was fucking Jeff Bezos. I got turned down immediately because they were looking for specific people. Anyways. As in the Apollo days, the crew of capsule will have to link up with a lunar lander in space while flying to the moon for the landing. A delicate procedure that takes careful planning and practice. If everything goes well, the Artemis 3's tests. Artemis 4 is scheduled to have humans walking on the moon again by 2028. Okay, so that's the projection. Well, the landing on the lunar South Pole. But despite the great accomplishments of Artemis 2's 10-day flight around the moon and back, Artemis 3's success is far from guaranteed, especially since the lunar lander is still having a long way to go before they're ready for a mission in Earth's orbit, let alone days on the moon. The SpaceX lander, a massive reusable rocket known as the Starship, has only had 2 fully successful flights out of 11 tests, and neither of those reached orbit. Oof. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, remember they were trying to test and shoot up no, wait, was it this one? Oh no, NASA also was trying to do some shit too like this, and it didn't go too well. That lander has also never refueled in space, as it will need to do for a moon mission, and it hasn't flown with the life support systems required to keep astronauts alive on the moon. Blue Origin's lander, Blue Moon, hasn't been to space at all. Well, I mean, isn't Blue Origin a new, right, aerospace company? So that's why. It also remains unclear which lander will be a part of the Artemis 4 landing. Schedules from 2025 called for SpaceX lander to make the first one, and Blue Origins to make one after that. But the final call will likely be determined by which one performs better than during Artemis 3. So yeah, they're basically testing each company's space capabilities. Despite such uncertainties, NASA admin Jared Isaacman said at a Saturday press conference with the Artemis 2 astronauts that Artemis 3 was moving full steam ahead. Right? Well, I mean, with the data, right, with the success and right data they got from Artemis 2 and everything. Oh yeah, they're gonna try and make fast track this stuff. There are a lot of things based on the information we have available today, from feedback from our vendors that we know are achievable, Isaacman said, adding that NASA had the first senior level Artemis 3 mission design discussion, just a day after Artemis 2 splashdown. Artemis 2 mirrored 1968's Apollo 8 with its test of the mission's rocket and life support system, while Artemis 3 will follow Apollo 9's 1969 test of the lunar landing system in Earth's orbit. Apollo 9 spent 10 days orbiting Earth and was the first mission to fly a lunar lander and rendezvous with it, just as Artemis 3 will do. As Apollo 9's success opened the door for Apollo 11's launch just months later, Artemis 3 is currently scheduled to determine whether Artemis 4 will be able to land on the moon in 2028. Apollo 9 was followed by a full landing dress rehearsal. Apollo 10, which sent a lunar lander within miles of moon surface, but so far no such mission is scheduled for Artemis. Artemis 3 was initially supposed to be the landing mission, but NASA announced in February that it would remain in Earth's orbit to test the landing system. The moon landing mission's crew has not yet been revealed, though it has likely already been selected. Plans have already been announced for a long-term moon base, which would be part of the goal of a manned Mars landing in the mid-2030s. Oh man, really? Interesting. So they want to try to get to Mars mid-2030s. Oh. This is just the beginning. Isaacman said Friday after the Artemis 2 splashdown, we are going to get back into doing this with frequency, sending missions to the moon until we land on it in 2028 and start building our base. Oh shit, they want to build the moon base. The Artemis 2 crew was also already cheering on future missions during their triumphant Saturday press conference. It is time to go and be ready, Commander Reed Weissman said. It takes courage, it takes determination, and you all freaking going, he said. We're going to be standing there supporting you every single step of the way and every possible. Go. So they already planned out the next missions and everything. I wanna do it. Alright. What is this? A year-long 1 mil gasoline heist leads to arrest. Holy shit.
From the Acacia Ridge Criminal Investigation Branch. That I've got a search warrant in relation to yourself, okay, for this property. To search this place for evidence in relation to an offence of fraud. That's criminal, yes.
I'm guessing those are, there's gasoline in those. Oh man, look at all that gasoline, man. So I guess they were siphoning gas and then selling it. Queensland Police.
Plain Police Constable from the Acacia Ridge Criminal Investigation Branch.
Where is this?
That I've got a search warrant in relation to yourself, okay, for this property. To search this place for evidence in relation to an offence of fraud. That's coming with us.
Oh, is this in Australia? Oh yeah, it's in Australia. The Aussies. There you go. Florida governor hopeful busted on body cam following a domestic disturbance. Uh-oh.
Step back a little bit, man. You step out. You step out. Turn around and face away from us. Go down to your knees. Do it now.
You want me to go hands? Go hands, please.
Nobody move.
Just carrying that down now.
Chris, call your mom and help me after this is all over, please. She's not going anywhere.
Secure.
Once man, take him back, and then we'll bring her up. Take him up that left door. Make sure you announce. I love you, Chris. Man, come up to us. Do it now. Slowly.
You got a mistake here. What's going on? All right, we'll figure it out.
Turn away from us.
My mother's on.
Green,
coming out. My mother's on fentanyl. Okay. Lift that chain up. Just lift right up. No, just lift up the white part. On this side, on this side. Yeah, this hold it from the wind.
Well, Green, coming out.
Please don't get me killed, huh? My parents are going through a mental problem.
We'll get that all figured out.
Talk about this right quickly.
Green.
I can't believe this is happening.
I can't believe this is happening. Oh, what the fuck happened?
Just don't let me down.
Got called for domestic
You're in
violence.
good hands with us. My father tried to kill me already this morning.
We'll get all that figured out.
I haven't done anything wrong.
I haven't. Sir, just stop
This is
talking.
insane.
Sir, just shut the fuck up.
I haven't done anything wrong.
Oh, okay, we get it.
We'll get all that figured out.
Oh, okay, we got it. You'll have to keep repeating it, sir.
Why am I being taken in right now?
You're just in handcuffs, all right? You're just being detained until we get this figured out.
Okay.
You're under arrest right here at this moment.
Okay.
All right? Just stand in front of this car right here. Do you have anything on your hurt?
No, I don't have anything on me.
I just face the car, split your feet apart.
You're getting a pat down, sir.
I don't see nothing. Sitting there having coffee.
There's a couple cars back. A couple.
This is ridiculous.
This is ridiculous. I didn't do anything wrong. This is ridiculous. Well, I mean, why did they have to fucking come after you?
Why isn't my father being there? Why am I being
Listen. We're gonna get everything figured out, all right? I don't have all the answers right now. We just had to make contact with everybody involved, and we'll get all the answers after that, all right?
You send the whole force here, huh?
You sent the whole force out. Well, yeah.
I was running for
Because you might try something fucking crazy.
the first one?
Yeah.
I just spoke in Naples last night.
Okay.
You have neighbors outside looking too. They're all like,
I
"Oh,
wanted to
what
look
the
this out
fuck?"
'cause I didn't do it.
No, that tends to
What are you doing with me?
Right now, we're just going to my car while they figure things out over there and get all this worked out, right? I don't have all the answers for you right now. Important thing was getting in contact with everybody. Now we did that. We can work on figure out what's going on. I'm just going right here to this car. You got big wrists. How are these cuffs feeling on you? I know they're not comfortable, but they're not killing you, right? We'll see if we can swap them out for some bigger cuffs later. It's almost on the last click. So hold on, don't sit yet. Yeah, no. So stand there, face me. Alright, you're gonna keep your feet out of the car, but sit down and watch your head as you do. It's a short door frame. Careful, careful. Don't put your feet in yet. Now you're gonna scoot yourself all the way across. You're gonna put your back against the other door. There you go. Yeah, these seats suck.
And he can't even.
Yeah,
he can't even move himself to the other side of the.
And when you get your back to there, it'll have a little pocket so you're not leaning on the handcuffs at least. You can scoot back a little bit more until you're comfortable.
Yeah, he's basically saying you can like lay down.
Don't sit in that seat. You're gonna put your back against the door.
Yeah, there you go.
Are you okay like that? You not in any pain? No. How's the temperature back there right now? Which door is it? It's okay? Alright, if that changes, let me know, alright? Going to the lodge room.
There he goes. He's getting got put in the back of the car or the cruiser. Guess we can see what kind of crazy shit is here.
Like, oh my gosh, and then he came and snatched us.
I'm afraid that what they're saying is true and that I'm some sort of monster.
In my entire law enforcement career, I have never experienced something like this.
Ohio.
Hi, my name is Valerie Haythorne, and I work at a Dairy Queen. I'm the general manager out there. One of my employees did not show up for work this afternoon at 4 o'clock, which is totally uncharacteristic of her. She's not answering her phone, which is totally uncharacteristic. She's not answering her text.
The missing employee is 32-year-old single mother, Tina Herman. Tina and her 2 kids, 13-year-old Sarah Maynard and her 11-year-old brother Cody, live in Apple Valley, a bucolic lakeside community nestled in the rolling hills of Knox County. At her manager's request, a Knox County Sheriff's deputy drives out to Tina's house on King Beach Drive to perform a wellness check. When he arrives, Tina's blue pickup truck is in the driveway, but when he knocks on the front door, there's no answer. The deputy peers inside the house. He doesn't see or hear anything suspicious, so he leaves. The next day, Tina's a no-show at work again. This time, her manager takes matters into her own hands.
This is Deputy Sylvia. I can help you.
Yes, this is Valerie Haythorne. I called in last night about Tina Herman being missing. I am out at her house now. I just went in her home because I'm so worried about her. There is blood everywhere.
Okay. Okay. Just give us a few minutes and we'll be en route, okay?
Okay,
don't go back in the house.
When officers arrive and enter Tina's
they don't
house,
want
they're
her
confronted
to mess
with a
up
scene straight out of a horror movie.
Evidence is around
There's
there.
blood in the living room, in the hallway,
as soon
in one
as
of
she
the bedrooms,
confirmed that
and
there was
all
shit
over
in
the
there,
bathroom.
yeah, don't go back
As
in.
they continue to search the premises, police find bagged groceries in the kitchen and a vehicle parked in the garage. Only it's not Tina's pickup truck, it's a Jeep. Police run the tags and discover it belongs to Tina's neighbor, 41-year-old Stephanie Sprang. Officers' attempts to make contact with Stephanie are fruitless. It's as if she, Tina, Sarah, and Cody have vanished into thin air.
Oh, shit.
With a house full of blood and 4 missing people, the Knox County Sheriff's Department mobilizes quickly. They request assistance from the Bureau of Criminal Identification and Investigation and the FBI, and swiftly organize search parties to canvass the area. Within hours, news of Tina, Stephanie, Sarah, and Cody's disappearance spreads like wildfire through Knox County. Residents are shocked and scared. Nobody has a bad word to say about Tina, her kids, or Stephanie. The idea that anyone would hurt them seems unfathomable. With no obvious suspects or motive, investigators start by taking a look at the 2 people closest to Tina and Stephanie, their boyfriends. Under questioning, both men provide alibis, stating they were at work all day, and they deny any involvement in their disappearances. Based on interviews with their employers, police are able to verify they're telling the truth. Both men are cleared. That brings the investigation right back to square one, until authorities uncover a crucial new clue. Inside Tina's garage, police find a shopping bag filled with several items, most notably garbage bags and tarps.
Uh-oh.
The receipt is inside the bag. It's dated November 11th, and it's timestamped at 12:08 a.m. That means whoever bought these items did so hours after Tina's boss first contacted authorities. Detectives obtain a warrant and collect the store's surveillance video from November 11th. Just after midnight, cameras capture a man grabbing garbage bags and tarps off the shelves. He pays for them with cash and then leaves. Parking lot cameras show the unidentified man exiting the store and driving away. While investigators can't make out the car's license plate, they can see it's a silver Toyota Yaris. Using vehicle registration records, authorities compile a list of every person who owns a Toyota Yaris in Knox County. One by one, they rule out everyone on the list until they land on a suspect, 30-year-old Matthew Hoffman. Not only does Matthew fit the physical description of the man captured on tape, and is even wearing the same shirt from the surveillance footage in his driver's license photo, he's got a criminal record too. In 2000, the Ohio native was convicted of burglary and arson in Colorado and sentenced to 8 years in prison. Records indicate that after his release, he returned to Knox County. Recently, Matthew found himself in trouble again. He was fired from his job at a tree trimming company, and this past October, his ex-girlfriend filed a report with the Knox County Sheriff's Office accusing Matthew of strangling her. Ultimately, she decided not to press charges. Police find no connection between Matthew and the missing victims, but Matthew's current address puts him in Mount Vernon, just 20 miles from Tina's home. Investigators discover another red flag. Matthew's mother owns a home in Apple Valley, less than half a mile from the crime scene.
Oh, shit.
That means he's familiar with the area, which makes him an even more possible suspect. The next morning, SWAT teams descend on Matthew's house in Mount Vernon and his mother's house in Apple Valley simultaneously. To their surprise, when they knock on Matthew's door, he answers. Officers detain him, and he's transported to the Knox County Sheriff's Office for questioning. When authorities proceed inside Matthew's home, they're immediately struck by a bizarre sight. The room off the entryway is filled with leaves. In the kitchen, they make an even more chilling discovery. There's a decapitated squirrel inside Matthew's freezer.
Oh!
As they continue searching the house, police notice some furniture blocking one of the doors. They move the furniture and open the door. It appears to be the entrance to the basement. Inside the basement, officers make an incredible discovery. There, on a pile of leaves, is 13-year-old Sarah Maynard. She's alive.
Oh, shit.
Officers free Sarah, and she's transported to a nearby hospital for examination. At this point, even though they know the odds of finding them alive are slim, police need to locate Tina, Cody, and Stephanie.
It is Sunday, November the 14th. And it's about 8:57 a.m.
At the sheriff's office, investigators cut straight to the point with Matthew.
I think you know what we want to talk about, but we need to find some people. Matt, can you hear me?
Matt, do you go by Matt or Matthew?
We'll give you a minute, man, if you need to think a little bit. Just tell us when you're ready. Tell me what I can do to help you.
Yeah, he's probably just going to stay silent.
Start. You want to talk about the weather? We'll do that.
He's probably just going to stay silent.
Just tell me where they're at. I'll quit talking.
Minutes turn into hours, and Matthew refuses to say a word.
We have two families here that are going through hell right now, and you control the strings. You have the ability to help them people out. You have the ability to make them feel at ease. You have that ability to do that. And we're here asking you to help us and help them. And ultimately, it will help yourself. You will sleep better again, Matt. You will sleep better again. But you're going to have to own up to what's happened here. You're going to have to take responsibility for what's happened. And you're going to have to show us that you care, that you give a shit, Matt. That you honestly do have a heart. Tell me what you want to do.
After almost 3 hours of silence, detectives issue Matthew an ultimatum.
I'm going to give you one more opportunity before I walk out of this room. To tell me where I can go get Cody, Tina, and Stephanie. One more opportunity.
But it's no use. Another investigator steps in and gives it a shot.
Hi, Matt.
I'm Joe Dietz. I'm a special agent with the Office of Criminal Investigation. I just came in down here to help these guys out a little bit. And this morning I've been, since the time that they came into your house, I've been down with Sarah. I don't know if you knew her name, Sarah. But I've been down kind of trying to take care of Sarah, helping her down at the hospital, getting the, examination and all that stuff done. We're doing everything we can to kind of help her understand what's happened. At least, as much as we know it at this point. It's obviously going to be, a bit rough for her. And she had some questions that I wasn't able to answer. But I told her that I would try and, at least talk with you and see if we could get a couple of answers.
But Matthew stonewalls him too.
Do you remember her asking you about what happened to her mom and her brother? Because she said that she asked you a couple of times. Do you remember that?
I don't want to talk anymore.
Although Matthew won't talk, Sarah does. At the hospital, the traumatized but brave young girl tells officers she doesn't know where her mother, her brother, or Stephanie are, or what happened to them. Sarah says when she and her brother Cody came home from school on November 10th, Matthew was waiting inside the house.
We saw this blood on the tire and we're like, oh my gosh, and then he came and snatched us.
Cody ran off, and Sarah ran to her bedroom. Matthew chased her down and held a knife to her throat. He tied her up, blindfolded and gagged her, and forced her to lie face down on the kitchen floor. Terrified, Sarah says she remained there for what seemed like an hour. Then Matthew picked her up, carried her to the garage, put her into a car, and drove off. Eventually, they ended up at Matthew's house. Once they got there, he took Sarah down to his basement, shoved her onto a bed of leaves, and left her there, scared in the darkness. Over the next several days, as she remained imprisoned in his basement, Sarah says Matthew sexually assaulted her and repeatedly threatened to kill her if she tried to escape. Tied up and terrified, she had no other choice but to obey him. The next day, as the search for Tina, Cody, and Stephanie continues, authorities devise a new interview tactic.
Hi, Matt.
Yesterday, when Matthew was being processed at the sheriff's office, he willingly chatted with a female deputy. So they bring in FBI agent Kristen Cadu, hoping she can connect with Matthew and convince him to talk.
Do you want me to take the cuffs off so you can actually put this on? Or you just want to put it around you?
Basically, since he likes female so much,
Well, they're here.
they're gonna try and use a female detective to try and get some answers.
I saw you shiver in there, and I thought that it is a little chilly in here. I'm the one that's got the sweater on, so. I can see the pain in your face. Like I said, it's just kind of written all over there, and you seem pretty alone with all of it. And you don't have to be. I'd like to help you.
Instead of taking a hard line with Matthew, Agent Cadu employs a calm and sympathetic demeanor. Her strategy seems to work.
It's okay.
Let's see what's in these one piece packs. While we wait. Result.
It's gotta feel better just to let it out. I know it is for me.
I think I'm crazy.
Why do you think that?
Because I must have done something bad. I wouldn't be here if I didn't.
Well, that can be worked through.
I'm afraid to even know what it was I did.
You're afraid to have me know what you did?
I'm afraid to even know what I did.
No. It can only help you. You can't work through something you don't know.
Matthew decides he'd rather be the one asking the questions.
So did you go to Quantico?
I did.
Was that just training?
Yeah. I was there about 4 months. That's what you have to graduate from to get in. Have you ever been there?
I bet your parents are proud.
They're proud of me. I hope so anyway.
Eventually, their conversation turns back to the crime.
You seem very sincere and genuine.
Oh.
Part of me wishes that I could help you. And a part of me is afraid to just know what happened. I'm afraid that what they're saying is true and that I'm some sort of monster.
I don't think you're a monster at all.
I can't hurt people. I can't.
How did you come to have Sarah at your house?
I heard her.
I got a special.
I found her.
Oh, where'd you find her?
Bari.
Where?
My basement.
Just when it seems like Agent Cadu is making inroads, Matthew shuts down again. But Agent Cadu doesn't give up. They take a break, and she tries another angle.
How you doing now? I have something for you. I don't know if that looks familiar. The handwriting from your mom. Do you want it? Read it?
Kind of.
Yeah, why don't you do that? I can tell you it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. I hear she makes those. Is that a card she made? Does it make a difference to you that your mom's going to be there no matter what?
It's comforting.
Yeah. Are you concerned that whether it is no matter what? Is there still a fear of that? I think in a lot of ways, she's probably already thought the worst, and she's still willing to support.
Apparently, the JP cards of the one-piece
So I
sets
don't
are.
think you have to worry about.
But people are looking for more.
How bad it really is, and how she's going to feel about that. I think she's going to respect you as a man so much more, though, if you come straight with it and allow us to bring the people home, one way or the other, that we can bring them home. And that's going to mean so much more. We know that they're out there and that they're most likely dead. But still, you can bring closure to the family. We have to have the bodies so the families can have closure and that you can get a better deal with this, which is very important for your family and for your mom, so that you can be there for her. I think it's just weighing heavy on you, and you're afraid that if you tell us, it's going to hurt you in some way with the case, and it's the exact opposite. It's really the exact opposite.
I don't remember.
Oh yeah, we got a nice alternate art card. There we go.
Despite her best efforts, Matthew won't admit to anything. Detectives decide to call it a day.
Hey, Tom, you call jail and ask them to send somebody up to escort him back. Work out? No? You gotta do a little workout.
48 hours after Sarah Maynard was discovered alive in Matthew Hoffman's basement, police still don't know what he did with her mother Tina, her brother Cody, and their neighbor Stephanie Sprang. After 2 days of indulging Matthew's self-pity and stall tactics, investigators have had enough.
They're telling me that they are pushing, and they're pushing, the prosecutors are pushing to have you come and have a hearing, and this is it. This is your last chance to talk to us, literally. And
unless there's a lawyer present.
That's what they're pushing for. You're saying, yeah, you're saying you're still willing to talk to us without an attorney, but that's what's being done now as far as pushing for that. So this is your last chance right now to talk to us.
They'll come in and make the decisions for you.
Yeah,
I mean, literally. They'll take that away. They make it sound like it's your freedom that really won't give you that chance.
Well, it's really not in my best interest to talk without a lawyer. It's your best interest.
Well, if you, again, hopefully we've built some trust to know that we're not lying to you when we tell you that it does help you in the end. You gotta think of your family and yourself, and how that's gonna work. They're gonna be the ones that you have to face in the end, and how they're gonna view that. Your mom has been pressing to say, just do the right thing and tell us where they are, and she will be there for you. That's what's going to give her pride, knowing that you were honest. And this is your last chance.
Still, Matthew refuses to divulge any more information. But 2 days later, with the death penalty on the table, he changes his mind. In a written confession, Matthew says he came up with a plan to rob Tina's house. On the night of November 9th, he parked his car at some nearby ball fields and camped out in the woods across from Tina's house. The next morning, on November 10th, he watched and he waited until he was sure Tina and her kids had left for the day. Around 10:30 a.m., he entered the house through the garage. While he searched the home for money and jewelry, he heard Tina's truck pull into the driveway. He ran and hid in one of the bedrooms. When Tina walked in, all hell broke loose. He struck her multiple times in the head with a blackjack. Suddenly, Stephanie Sprang appeared in the house and started yelling at Matthew. In a state of panic, he grabbed a knife and stabbed both women to death.
Oh, man.
He carried their bodies into the bathroom and began dismembering them, placing their body parts in garbage bags he found inside the home. Before he could finish, Sarah and Cody arrived home. When they saw him, they both ran. Matthew caught Cody first and stabbed him to death.
Oh my goodness.
He found Sarah hiding in one of the bedrooms, but he couldn't bring himself to kill her, so he kidnapped her instead.
Holy fuck.
He transported Sarah to his house and left her in his basement.
Fucking wild.
Around midnight, he drove to the store where he purchased garbage bags and the tarps. Then he returned to the crime scene to finish what he'd started. Once he was done dismembering the victims, he loaded their body parts into Stephanie's Jeep and drove to the Kokosing Wildlife Preserve. There, he rigged a pulley and hid the victims' bodies inside a hollow tree trunk. Next, he drove the Jeep back to the crime scene and parked it in the garage. His plan was to take Tina's truck, go get gasoline, come back, and burn the house down. But there was something wrong with Tina's truck, so he abandoned it nearby, got back into his car, and left. That same day, aided by Matthew's written confession and a hand-drawn map, authorities descend upon the Kokosing Wildlife Preserve. Inside a 70-foot-tall, hollowed-out tree, they recover multiple garbage bags. Inside those bags are the bodies of Tina Herman, her son Cody Maynard, and their neighbor, Stephanie Sprang. Afterwards, at a press conference, Knox County Sheriff David Barber issues a statement.
As the sheriff of this county for the past 18 years, I have never experienced a case this big, this serious, and this tragic. And in my entire law enforcement career, I have never experienced something like this.
The following evening, Knox County residents gather together to hold a candlelight vigil in remembrance of the victims. On January 6, 2011, Matthew Hoffman pleads guilty to multiple charges.
It's been indicated to me it's your desire to enter a guilty plea to counts 1 and counts 2 of the indictment, charges of aggravated murder and unclassified felony. Is that a correct statement? It's also been indicated to me it's your desire to enter a guilty plea to count 3, an additional charge of aggravated murder under a different statute, an unclassified felony. Is that a correct statement? It's also been indicated to me it's your desire to enter a guilty plea to count 4, a charge of aggravated burglary, a first-degree felony. Is that a correct statement?
Yes.
You desire to enter a guilty plea to count 5, charge of kidnapping, a first-degree felony. Correct?
Yes.
And is it your desire to enter a guilty plea to count 6, a charge of rape, a first-degree felony?
Yes.
The judge sentences him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Over a decade later, even though justice has been served, the senseless brutality of this case still haunts Knox County residents and investigators alike. Even though she's a grown woman now, to those who remember this tragic case, Sarah will always be the young girl who survived the unthinkable.
Damn. Holy shit, the guy's a fucking monster. I'm not a monster. Well, just murdered 3 people. And then kidnapped 1 and then sexually assaulted the little girl. Like, what the fuck? Fucking what? Fucking sicko, man. Alright, well, there you go. Alright, what time is it? Oh, shit. I think I should call it. It is getting late. It's already 1 in the morning. I'm gonna have to call.